Well, welcome back everybody to the F1 Creator Series. For the first time since we raced there in Season 4, we return to Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix. My name's Tom Knight, and alongside me, the wonderful Alex Heron, also making, I believe, his Creator Series return. How are you?
Yes, I'm all good, mate. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done Creator Series. I literally can't even think of the last time I did it. But yeah, I'm here, I'm back, and it's a pleasure to be invited back, as always.
Certainly good to have you alongside us. We've got a bit of a twist for this afternoon, as we always do here in the Creator Series. The track has been known to our drivers since the start. Of course, we're following the IRL calendar, so no need to fret over where we are indeed racing. However, as all good movies and all good TVs have, we have a twist for this afternoon, and that wildcard will be revealed slightly later on if you haven't seen any of the drivers' POVs quite yet. But Alex, what are we expecting to see this afternoon? Because obviously it's been a while since we've raced at Mexico.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, Mexico is, we all know Mexico. It's a fantastic circuit, long straight, heavy braking zones, and a very tricky middle sector, especially in the current Formula One cars. It's very hard to get it all sorted. But I'm very much looking forward to racing it, of course. The other rule we should mention, without, as you mentioned to me before off stream, that hard tyres are not allowed, which means we might get some variant strategies, because obviously they're going to be using softs and mediums.
I think that's what we've seen over the course of the season so far. I've been fortunate enough to actually be on every single Creator Series broadcast so far this season. So we have seen actually only one instance of driver using the hard tyre. It was it was Nogueira that got caught out in the first round, pitted off them rather swiftly and managed to go till the end of the race. But as this is also a sprint weekend, we do start with 12 laps of a sprint race. Now, normally we'd be expecting our drivers to do probably around the 130s here in Mexico. However, due to this week's wildcard, and we won't quite let you in on what it is yet, I'm being told it ends up at about a minute a lap.
Ooh. What could it be? What could it be, everyone? Take your guesses in chat, because I don't know what it is.
I mean, you do. I hope you do, because I told you what it is earlier. But of course, yeah, let us know in chat what you think it might be. If you have seen...
Suspense, TK.
If you have seen what it is, we'll share it very shortly. We are just waiting for the lobby to populate and fill, as always. But we will run you through the reservists that we have in our lobby this afternoon. So both Aston Martins, that guy Vince and GB68 being replaced by F1 Scott and Cry6. Jorrit van Geffen makes his Creator Series return for the first time in a while. He'll step in to the McLaren alongside Team at Mardik, replacing Punju, who's enjoying a lovely holiday out in Europe from what I'm being told. T. George steps into the Williams, replacing Curbs. And finally, Mike Denaldi steps in for Matty D13. We've had a permanent driver switch as well. It is Bushy Ants that steps in place of Unstop Rob until the end of the season.
Yep, and some very good reserve drivers in there as well. And of course, as you said, a permanent switch as well. We obviously know Jorrit very well. We've spent some time with him, and we're looking forward to seeing him race back in Creator Series once again.
Yeah, quite possibly known as the Monaco King here. He's won, I think, 2 out of the 3 possible races that we've hosted at the Principality. Now finds himself rather more southwards down in Mexico City. We were having a debate as well, or at least the drivers were having a debate before we got going, whether to do a 100% sprint race, but the decision has been made. We are ready, and it is only going to be 12 laps, and then you can count your chickens, because we have 71 laps of Grand Prix racing after a short qualifying session. Everything about that is still the usual same. Intermediate pole is still a thing, and of course, with that short qualifying session being added in, it's all the more important to get those runs in quickly.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, if it was a normal weekend, we'd have a full qualifying session and then a main 100% race. But now we've got a 12 laps sprint race, and then, as you mentioned, a short qualifying. Short qualifying, only 18 minutes in the game, so you've only got 18 minutes to get your laps on the board. And then, as we all know, 71 laps is more about the endurance than it is about your quick passing and overtaking. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I haven't commentated on a full race probably since the last time I did Creator Series, so it's going to be very interesting for me as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting for our drivers. Of course, they're all veterans and pros at doing these 100% races. I think they also do them in their own lobbies as well. But get your early predictions in, who you think is going to take the victory here this afternoon. Normally, now is about the time we'd go show some standings. But because I'm doing producing and doing the commentating as well, unfortunately, I don't have that loaded for you. I think you can do exclamation mark standings in the chat, and that will give you a nice little Google Drive link over to the Excel spreadsheet that Gareth puts together, and you can have a look at who is leading. It is Tim Marduk that leads after 2 race victories for himself, and more importantly, that race victory that he got last time out in Canada, where he managed to beat out GB once GB got himself a penalty after being quite considerably in the lead.
I remember watching that. You showed me the clip of it afterwards, and I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Everyone picks up penalties. Everyone's done it. GB's done it so much that he's not. I don't think he's even here this weekend. So he's after that, he was like, nope, I've got to take a quick break from the penalties. But no, I mean, it can happen. Ben picked up the scraps and picked up the win, and that's how you got to do it.
He certainly did. It's 2 race wins to Team Marduk's name, and it is 2 race wins to Razin Chai as well. Of course, getting victories in rounds 1 and rounds 3, if memory serves me correctly. We are just waiting for the last couple of drivers to get into the lobby and get ready to go racing. So let us know at home where you're watching from, if you're excited, and if you're also going to be watching the real-life F1 quali that happens in about 5 hours' time.
Starts at, 10 PM UK time, anyway. It's the reason why we're starting at 5 PM today.
It's also the reason why we get, no extra sleep tonight, because the clocks in the UK roll back. So, we get 1 less extra hour of sleep, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I've got work in the morning as well. Isn't it good fun?
That is a big yikes. Ignore what that says. There is a wildcard this weekend. We will run you through that in a brief moment of time. But there you go. There's your link to the standings spreadsheet. You can have a check at who's doing the best. 1 extra. It is 1 extra because the clocks go back. Ignore me. I always get this mixed up. You get an extra hour of sleep.
Yes. It's getting better, everyone. Can we also just point out that Tom's name is Tom TK Knight? That is his full title now.
That is. It's actually on my birth certificate, I heard.
Legally changed.
Legally changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we are ready to go racing. Whilst, now the wildcard has been brought up, should we tell everybody at home, I mean, if they haven't seen it already on someone's stream, should we tell them what the wildcard's going to be?
I reckon we should let them know. I think they deserved it.
I think they certainly have. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, the wildcard for this afternoon is there are no track limits in our 12-lap sprint. So you do not have to adhere to any single one of the corners. And this is going to make it rather spicy. There'll be a lot of driving on grass, and I have a feeling maybe quite a few lockups as well, because those running without ABS are going to really start to struggle.
Yeah, they certainly are. And also, as we discussed off stream as well, you can't just, there is no rules on. We should classify why there is no track limits, but you can't just run into people. You still have to pay attention to the rules on circuit, but you can cut any corner you want. But if it starts to rain, we should point out, that grass is going to be very slippery to go across. And we already know, as you mentioned as well, TK, that the grass is slippery naturally around this circuit.
It certainly is. I've watched a couple of the drivers doing some practice through the twists and the turns. I mean, they are really struggling to brake on some of the grass, more notably into the opening couple of corners, but as well, I mean, through turns 4, 5, and 6. That really weird double right-hander. It's as you cut across there, some drivers are really struggling to get the brakes on. So we will keep an eye on that as it develops. But hopefully we're moments away from going racing. I'll try and assure you with that as well. But we'll run through some potential things that can happen this afternoon as well. So in terms of podiums, it could be Safso's 10th podium. It could be Razin's 15th podium. Alex Gillen could get his 40th top 10. Hayden could get his 30th. And Yorit, after making very few appearances in the Creator Series, could make it top 10 number 15. El Rey, Matty D and Dale all could get and join the 3 sprint win club, which is actually the most out of any driver. Dale inevitably will probably get his 35th DNF this afternoon, and yes, we are keeping track of those. And I would say GB could get his first win, but unfortunately he's not here this week.
Has JB not got a win before?
No, he is a massive donut here in the Creator Series.
I mean, well, those sound like some very interesting chances. And it's weird that Yorit, considering he's driven so little in the Creator Series, has that almost record on his hands. But
Yeah.
Hey, it's consistency. And that's what they say.
It very much is. We've seen that over not only just Creator Series season, but other league seasons as well. I mean, there's quite possibly wins out there. Sorry, season wins where drivers haven't got a single race win under their name. I don't know who we're actually waiting for in the lobby at the moment. We've got 18 sat ready to go racing.
Missing 2, I think.
We are missing 2. Let's shun them publicly.
Let's shun them. Who is missing? Let's work it out. It is. Well, one of them's Ben.
Oof. I heard Ben is feeling under the weather, so we'll excuse Team Modic for maybe not turning up on time. I think he's got a little bit of a cold on his return from Germany.
Yeah, I think there was a few people. Well, I went out to Germany with a cold, so there's a likelihood I've just given everyone the cold when I was there. Well, you got away scot-free from it, so it's fine.
Yeah, I had a bit of a sniffle, but that was about it. I managed to keep myself relatively in good health. But let us know at home in the live chat where you're supporting from, where you're watching along from, and of course who your bets are on for the sprint race win. There are only 12 laps. It will be about 12 minutes, and I'm almost guaranteeing it will be absolute chaos here, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of track limits, you've got to think, normally when we race down towards turn 1, you're expecting a braking zone. It's not going to be a braking zone because they're all going to veer to the right-hand side to go completely across the grass. It'll be interesting to see actually which sections of the track they do have to brake on to make sure they get round the corners, because they can't obviously flat out every corner.
Well, you never know. We might see who is, well, some people going flat out through at least a majority of the corner. Someone's put a flag in chat. Unfortunately, that doesn't show on my OBS, so I'm going to try and guess from the 2-digit country code PT. Is that? I'm trying to guess.
I can probably see it on the. If I look at the chat, it might show me. I'll load up Twitch so I can.
Okay.
See.
Whilst you do that, we have got 19 drivers in the lobby. We are just missing, of course, the infamous team at Marduk, who maybe has forgotten that we're racing that hour early as well, and hopefully we'll be going just a little bit sooner, but we have got everybody else in. Portugal. That makes a lot of sense now that you say it out loud. I don't know, in my head I was thinking the Philippines. I was like, that doesn't have a T in it.
Yeah. Also, the other person that was missing was Jake, also known as Meraki.
Oh, he's been sweating out open lobbies since about 3:30.
Yeah.
So he can get publicly shamed.
Yeah. He's not feeling ill either, so
he's not.
Get an excuse. No, so we're now just waiting on one more. I assume he'll arrive at some point. So
at some point he has. I mean, he has to. If not, we will go racing with 19. I've had no confirmation as to whether we're waiting for him or whether we're going to go. But apologies for this little preamble. It normally is a little bit smoother than this, with everybody getting themselves into the lobby to go racing.
I think it's just me, mate. Every time I'm on any kind of broadcast, something tends to go wrong.
To take a quote from Reacher, chaos does seem to follow you.
It does. Yeah, it does. I think sometimes I do cause the chaos myself, but that's bar the course. Oh, he's in.
There we go.
20.
Full 20 drivers. Full 20 drivers in the lobby then. I'm sure we'll have a couple of minutes where Hayden just needs to set the grid up. And speaking of the grid, I'll run you through who's going to be starting where in our sprint race. So we'll be Infratic and Mr. Dale, both those drivers starting on the front row. Mike Donardi and Bushy Ant sharing row number 2. Dark Viper and Lolly Nova starting P5 and P6 respectively. Alex Gillen, Dragonflies, Hayden Gullis and Safso are your top 10. And then Tom, Elray Guri, Razin Chai, Meraki, Naguera, Tiamat Marduk are your top 16. And then our new reservists will start from the back of the grid. Those being T. George, F1 Scott, Jorrit van Geffen and Kryzix. So you're on the back row here, Alex.
Well, you say the back row, but it could very much be the front row by the time we get to the first corner.
You don't know.
I assume is it reverse grid? Is that the way we've set up the top?
Yeah, so sprints are set up, and it might be a little bit convoluted, but we will try and explain it to you. Reverse championship order, and then new reservists will start at the back. If a reservist has already raced before, they start where they are in the order of the driver's standings. But if they haven't raced before, they start from the back of the grid.
That makes sense. That was well explained.
I try my best sometimes.
You do, you certainly do. Well, we're actually loading into the race right this second. It is counting down on our screens.
It certainly is indeed. So, well, 12 laps of racing. Who knows whether we'll get a formation lap? But one thing I can confirm, we probably won't get a safety car because they seem to be a little bit featured in this year's game.
They tend to be. Yes, I haven't seen one for a while, actually. But are we going to feature some rain? That's the question.
I'd love to see rain in a sprint race here because it'll be absolute chaos for all of our drivers to try and contend with.
I think if it's rain, I'd still use the track limits, to be honest with you. I think that's probably the
It'd
better
probably be
option.
the easier line to drive for 90% of it,
Yeah.
especially if it's a full wet condition. We'll wait and see as we hop across to our sprint. We will have that weird kind of loading time. It is looking dry though, rather unfortunately. We will switch across to our side-by-side. And then you can see the track conditions as well. Because if formation lap is off, then we sometimes have a quick jump to the race start, Alex.
Yeah, we'll pay good attention so we make sure that we don't miss the race start. And of course, we are racing in our lovely liveried cars as well, which is very nice for us broadcasters and for the audience watching at home as well. And hopefully, we're going to be getting underway shortly before we head for our 5 lights. But are we going to have a formation lap? Take your bets. It seems to be. Is it a bit random if we have a formation lap or not?
We normally have a formation lap 9 times out of 10. Sometimes Hayden forgets to set it. I'll be completely honest with that. We all have from time to time. The lobbies, well, the menus in F1 24 are rather long and convoluted for settings like this, so we will wait and see. I'm 90% certain we're going to have a formation lap, but just on the off chance that we don't, we are prepped and ready.
We're prepped and ready to go for your lights out, and away we go, as a great man once said. But yeah, we're just waiting for the drivers to get their setup sorted out. And as you mentioned as well, TK, on just before we started the broadcast, they would not have been prepared. They only got told about half an hour ago that they were going to do no track limits on the sprint. So drivers wouldn't have prepared for going across the grass and stuff like that. So they wouldn't know where the best places to do it.
Yeah, of course, wildcards only getting revealed to our drivers about an hour before they go racing to prevent any of the sweat activities. But there we go, we have got a formation lap, and we will switch across to our race view as drivers proceed upon it.
Yes, as we can see them, they are getting underway, and we've already had a disqualification in the formation lap.
We have indeed Mike Donaldi coming into early contact. We'll get our full track map up there. Lolly Nova also joining him in the disqualification club. Mr. Dale, speaking of disqualifications or DNFs, is leading our formation lap away here. We'll remind you of tyres. We'll have a see what everybody's gone on to. And as to be expected, it is mediums until the end. Oh my goodness, what have we just seen there?
I believe that was that Hayden? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Hayden. It was Hayden Gullets, who's taken a bit of an interesting line through the first couple of corners as he's gone directly into a pit wall as well.
Yep. Somehow I think no rules being turned on. Oh my goodness, what a camera angle as he just jumps back to the grid. Apologies for yourselves at home who weren't quite expecting to suddenly have your camera in a wall. But this quite possibly could be the quickest formation lap in Creator Series history as they're all testing out the track limits.
It might certainly be. Well, who's the last runner on the pack? I believe it's Prix, I think, is right at the back of the grid. Yeah, they're taking that quite normally, the casual formation here at the back of the grid.
Yeah, we are being told possible race strategy is medium at least till the end. If they want to switch on to another set of the mediums, they can do. But it is going to be 12 laps for our drivers to contend with. And of course, there are no suggested lines for them to follow. It is going to be pure driver skill if anyone makes this out alive.
Yeah, and of course, usually that strategy is based on timing, and you say it's about a minute per lap with this new rules.
That is what it appears to be. We have got donuts going on. I'm just going to assume that's Yorit. Yep, just doing some donuts in the back.
And in practice, this is just coming from the back now to start on the front row.
He is indeed. We'll pull the tyres away. We've all seen what they are. And we are almost ready for the sprint race. Just waiting for Araguri just to pile himself into 12th position there. There we go. Everybody nice and parked. We've got lights above our heads, ladies and gentlemen, for the sprint race here in Mexico. No track limits are allowed. And the lights go out and we go racing. It's a tentative pull away from both of our top two. Mr. Allen and Fratic barrel down towards turn number 1. And are we going to see 3-4 wide and possibly here as Lolly Nova comes to join the party? They're all going to veer off to the right. Ignore where the track goes. Mr. Dale, though, in the lead of the Grand Prix.
It's certainly good stuff, Mr. Dale. He's flown across the circuit as he takes the lead ahead, as Infratic is dropping further and further down. Oh, we've got a retirement in the background, a huge crash with Mike, who's gone into the wall as they all go across the grass here. As Radissi overtakes in the background, a few drivers making it through, but Alex Gillen is battling with Mr. Dale into the first couple of corners, and Gillen leads the Grand Prix here, or the sprint race, I should say.
Yep, I think people potentially forgetting damage is still on, of course, in this sprint race. So that is probably what ended Mike Donaldi's race nice and early. But they barrel into the stadium section here. Gillen now leads from Mr. Dale. And if anybody clips one of these walls, it is going to be an early shower for them.
It certainly will be. And we've already come to the end of lap 1 as we race down the back straight. It's Gillen who leads Mr. Dale, who leads Dark Viper, who leads Lolly Noba, who leads Infratic, who's down to 5th at the start of this race. We're going to have a change in lead again, as here comes Dark Viper as well. He's getting that double slipstream effect into the first corner, as they're going to miss the first corner completely and go straight across the grass. It's a beautiful scene as Gillen's still in the lead here, but Dark Viper now takes 2nd place.
Yep, holding on at the moment is the Kick Sauber as we start lap 2 of 12. 1 minute lap times coming in thick and fast. Hayden Gullis, the trickster of the Create Series, trying to hang it around the outside. There's a spin there for Razin Chai, just getting caught up with the Alpine of Safso. I think the RB of Safso rather, but Infratic, his teammate, up to P4. Tom's lost out as they switch across the S's here.
It is absolutely carnage watching them go across the S's. You've got to be so careful because one little tap with a driver or one tap with a wall or wrong tap on a curb is the end of your Grand Prix as they all race through the stadium section. And this is how we should race normally. This is fantastic stuff.
Well, everyone says they want to see fast and flowing circuits in Formula 1, and this is ideal. Oh, it's an early crash, it's an early shower for Kreisix. He's crashed out at the final corner. Tim and Marnik and T. George getting caught up there as well.
And it's been blocked in the final corner. It's a terrible place to crash on that final corner. And it's caught out a few drivers. And a few drivers had to pull into the pits as well for fresh tyres.
Yeah, damage from Infratic as well. No front wing on that Scuderia Ferrari. He got caught up with the likes of Bushy Ant and Tom, dropping positions hand over fist.
Now they go across the grass here. They're going to have to hit those brakes a little bit early. Oh, down the inside, I believe goes Lolly Nova, as there's going to be a few drivers making their way through. Razin Shai found themselves up into 4th place. A few drivers dropping through the grid. Tom is up into 5th, but Gillen still leads by a second out front. And there's a bit of a gap behind. I think Dale's been battling too many people to really be involved in the fights up ahead.
Yep, that's unfortunate for himself. Dives down the inside with a beautiful cut back on Razin Chai there. That is one for the highlights book.
That's certainly a switchback and a half. I've seen switchback moves, but now I've seen them all. As I believe, who's just gone into the pits there? Was that Infratic, I think, called into the pits?
I don't think anyone actually went into the pit lane. I think people are using the pit lane as the extended track limits.
I think that's the best thing to do, as Razin now finds himself in 3rd place. As we're still racing down the main straight as we turn right there and never get. Oh, who's that? It's just gone round.
That is Razin.
Just gone round. Razin. He's lost it. He was up in
Infratic's retired.
And Infratic's retired as well. We've lost 2 Ferraris in the space of a couple of corners.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely chaos. It's a 3-way battle there as Tom manages to pull through past Lolly Noba and Hayden Gullis. The sprint race, what we thought could have been rather interesting, has turned into DNF Central.
Here we go across the S section now, and it's Hayden Gullis who's going to attack Lolly Noba here, going towards the stadium section. How close will he cut it on the inside? He backs out of the move, doesn't make it here. Going to switch to the left now across the stadium, as it's Tom just up ahead. He thinks he's struggling a little bit, but they're going to get caught by DRS surely here down the back straight. And you can see Hayden is using all of that pit entry to get the best exit down the back straight.
I'm loving some of the creative lines that our drivers are taking here. We're almost halfway through the sprint already. Who would have thought it, as Lolly Noba manages to pip out Tom here. Down towards turn number 1. Hayden Gullis to the inside line as well, swooping across.
Oh!
Is Lolly Noba. Oh, massive kick of oversteer for the VCOM.
He somehow held that across the grass because he really wanted to go for it, but he didn't know where Tom was turning, so he kind of had to half attempt it. And he somehow got away with it as we go across the grass now, and Hayden fires it around the outside. Couple of drivers taking the closer inside line, and it's worked out for a few of them, but we've got about a 6-wide battle going into the S section.
We do indeed. Mr. Dale trying to hold on from Bushy Ant as well. Those two are side by side as we head through the latter corners, 9, 10 and 11, in towards the stadium section. We've got a 6-way battle here for almost the podium.
We certainly do. They're all fighting for that 3rd place as we switch left onto the stadium. And is Hayden Gullis going to go through here? No, he's out of the race. He's had a massive accident. He got squeezed into the wall, and it's game, set, and match for him.
Oh my goodness, V-Cup has taken an early shower. What have we just seen? Just a reminder, the wildcard for this afternoon is no track limits. That is why you are seeing the absolute carnage and chaos here. But we still have a six-way battle for the podium. Lolly Noble leads, Bushy Ants from Tom, Meraki, Elray, Giri and Mr. Dale all caught up here.
Oh, Meraki was almost fired into a wall by two Red Bulls charging into each other as we go into the next braking zone across the grass. Oh, Meraki's lost it. Meraki's into the wall. The Red Bull's into the wall as well of Mr. Dale.
Mr. Dale facing the wrong way here. He's got to be careful not to come out into the path of any of our other drivers. You can see Raz and Chai and T Dragonflies there swooping around the outside. Joran van Geffen making up good positions as well, though, with both end plates missing on that McLaren.
Yeah, there's a few end plates missing up ahead as well. Lolly Nova missing the entire right-hand side of them. Oh, they're past. They almost lost more than that as they clunk the wall, but they're still carrying on here. But it's still, of course, Alex Gillen who leads from Dark Viper, and then Tom, and then Elray is up into fourth with Lolly Nova and Ants in sixth here.
Yeah, Bushy Ants in P6 in the Alpine, trying to hold on in his first full-time race here. Replacing, of course, Unstop Rob in round number 5. We head down towards turn number 1 once again. Aguera getting up past Meraki as they swoop round the outside. Meraki, though, trying to hold it through. I think he has indeed. Aguera is somewhere missing from our camera screens. There he is, off into the grass.
He dropped it. He just dropped the rear end. He didn't have the grip going into the corner. Absolutely flung it into the right-hander, but couldn't keep it. As now, here comes Joran van Geffen around the outside of Mr. Dale into the first braking zone. Will Dale be able to hold it? Joran's taken such a tight line. There's a Ferrari facing the wrong way. How's that happened? But Rasid Shai gets back on the way. Joran's found himself up in 10.
He has indeed, in towards the points-paying positions, or nearly so. P8, of course, will be the top points-paying position, currently occupied by Tim and Marduk, having a good battle with Dragonflies. Ari Guri managing to pip out Tom there in the final corner as we head round to start lap 8 of 12 in this sprint race.
Yeah, Tom's missing his left hand's front wing. I'm not surprised he's losing a lot of downforce down that main straight. It's going to make it so difficult to do those right-handers without downforce.
Yeah, it will do indeed. So fortunately, not too many heavy turning areas for our drivers to contend with, as they do not have to stay within track limits at the moment. Eric Guri on for a podium if he can defend from both Alpines and the Haas. They're trying to KM Meraki in the background. Oh, he's out of the race.
He's got into the wall. He's out of the race as places swapping once again. The two Alpines getting very close to each other. Lolly Nova's lost out. It's down to 6th. Ben's found himself up in 7th now. Only 10 seconds off the rest of the pack, but considering how these battles have been going, he might make up a bit more time.
He might do indeed. You're now within the points-paying positions for this sprint race. He's going to try and defend from the Haas and the Red Bull that stands behind him. Mr. Dale has been practicing ever so slightly before we got into this race. I'd be expecting him to get higher up than P10, of course, starting on the front row alongside him, Fratic, and Fratic taking an early shower. But at the moment, the Red Bull just holding on.
Oh, but he's almost lost the rear end there going through that section. George is out of the race as well. We've got another Williams, both Williams out here in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, both Williams, Rise and Chai, of course, taking that earlier spin. He's down to P12, almost joining his teammate in Fratic, Hayden Gullis, Kryzix, Mike Donaldi amongst the drivers that are out of this Grand Prix. But the battles are still strong as we have both Alpines here trying to hold off Lolly Nova, Dragonflies and Joran van Geffen having a good battle in the first few corners. And that was Mr. Dale very close to the wall.
Lolly Nova almost getting into 4th place here, ahead of Tom in the Alpine as Yorick gets past Mr. Dale as they're really battling. Their Dragonflies has fallen out. Safso's retired now as well, so both RBs out of this session.
Yep, I think that was more a disconnect retirement as opposed to finding the wall. So Safso out and down in P16. Yorick and Dragonflies having a good battle as well as P9 and P10 come around the corner here towards the stadium section.
Yeah, it's a really good fight between this pack here. His Dragonflies always had a bit of an error. I think they've tapped the back of Joran van Geffen.
Yep, I think there was a little bit of contact between themselves and the McLaren. Allowed Aguera to head their way through. Lolly Nova, though, managing to pip out both Alpines down towards turn number 1 on what is going to be with 3 laps to go in this sprint race.
There certainly is, as Tom is really starting to struggle with that front wing damage.
Is indeed. Is this going to be an attack from Bushy Ants down the inside on the grass and the gravel? Oh, Lolly Nova in millimetres away from that wall. Very lucky not to be able to, well, not to be taking an early shower himself.
Yeah, could have easily lost the front right tyre there, but still going underway as Tom is really defending now on this 5th place as he's trying to chase down Bushy Ants' teammate for 4th place. Up front, we are onto the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. It's flown by here, TK, here in the sprint race.
It certainly has, with a minute a lap time here at the moment, echoing one of the fastest laps in F1. It's certainly flown by, and Dragonfly's Nogueira having a good battle down in towards the castle section. You can see how spread out some of our drivers are. Alex Gillen, now 6.5 seconds clear of his closest competition of Dark Viper GT.
Yeah, it certainly is. Absolutely flown out into the lead of this Grand Prix and just flown away from the rest of the pack. But the back of the pack is still battling it out. With Tom still battling with Lorinoba and Bushy Ants just up in 4th place. It's so interesting to see the drivers take different lines, especially off circuit. It's so strange because some of them take tighter, some of them take further lines. It's great.
Yeah, some prefer the flowing lines, potentially on the asphalt as well, and some are really risking it on the grass and the gravel that we quite often see here in the Mexico City circuit. And it is still the Haas defending from Tom. I think Tom's going to get a little bit frustrated here as the Haas has equal wing damage to him and send down the inside from the Dutchman, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it this time around into the stadium section for the penultimate time.
We go on to lap 12 of 12, and this is the final lap of our sprint race. But don't go anywhere, folks. We still have a short qualifying and then, of course, a full 100% Mexican Grand Prix. So we still got a lot of action here in the Creator Series this afternoon. It's been a cracking opening sprint battle here, involving a lot of incidents, but a lot of fun as well. As Lorinoba's still pushing for this 4th place. Can they get Bushy Ants here? Can they even get Elray? Because they're not too far away from him, but Lolly's got such a great run as we go into the grass braking zone. Are they going to get away with it? Bushy Ants pushes them through. They might have just got the inside line, but through goes Tom, and he's up into 4th.
Almighty overtake there. Used the disadvantage of Lolinoba and Bushy Ants. Managed to slip through the both of them as they head into the stadium section. But rounding the final corner is Alex Gillen. He'll take the sprint win this afternoon. Dark Viper will join him on the podium. And Elray Guri will come home to make it a front 3 in this sprint race.
Certainly will. And I think Tom, after that brilliant overtake, will take his 4th place. Elray finishes in 3rd. Tom finishes in 4th. Lorinoba in 5th ahead of Bushy Ants. Tim McMartin will come home in 7th place. Jorik van Geffen on his return to the Creator Series finishes in the points and in 8th place. And that is a great top 8 here, TK.
It certainly is indeed.
Dale,
Mr.
no!
Dale! What has happened to Dale?
He's crashed with Dragonflies in the final corner.
I thought Dragonfly was going to try and push him across the line there. It's not going to work. The Haas driver will take P11. Razin Chai ran in P10, of course, out of the points-paying positions. F1 Scott, who's been kind of nowhere in this sprint race after an early poor start from the Aston Martin driver, will finish down in P12. Dale will get P13. And then both Williams, both V-Carbs, Emphatic Kryzix, and Mike Denaldi not finishing this sprint race.
It's nice of Scott to take the track limits, though. I respect that. He took the track limits in the final stadium section.
I think he was just rounding out what had been a forgettable sprint race for themselves. Driver of the day goes to Elray Guri. Where's Vince? Vince is not racing today, neither is GB, so both Aston Martins filled with reservists. But we'll run you through our finishing order. Alex Gillen, after a dominant display here in the sprint race, gets the win. Dark Viper and Elray Guri join him on the podium. Tom, Lolinoba, Bushy Ants, Tim Mardik, and Jorik van Geffen will be your point scorers this afternoon. Nogueira, Razin Chai, Dragonflies, F1 Scott are your race finishers. Mr. Dale, T. George, Maraki Safso, Hayden Gullis, Infratic, Kryzix, and Mike Denaldi are your DNFs. And we're going to switch back to our lovely faces whilst our lobby gets reset.
We're back.
We are.
Just like that. It's magic. Yeah, so what a fantastic sprint race it was. I mean, well, turns out no track limits does equal carnage, but it also equals some fantastic racing.
It does indeed. I think we can all agree it was chaos, it was carnage, but at the end of the day, it was some good racing. I think everybody is going to be happy with that. Some people may have said it's gone the other way, far too silly. It was just a sprint race. Realistically, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. There's 8 points on offer for the winner, down to 1 point for 8th place. It's what it is. It's a sprint race. But we do have a full 71 lap serious race coming up, everyone. But before that, we have a qualifying session as well. The lobby is just being reset as we speak right now. or it will be once everyone's hit the retirement button. But then we'll get started, and it'll be fantastic to watch as you can't see what's going on, but it's quite entertaining.
It normally is during these lobby resets. They'll just have to retire from the formation lap, get back out, and then hopefully it'll be moments before we head into our short qualifying session. 18 minutes for our drivers to set the fastest lap time and start on pole position here of a 71 lap Grand Prix. It is going to be a slug. It's going to be very much like a marathon for our drivers to try and contend with, and I'm sure they are prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean it's more about it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, as a famous driver once said before going off into turn one. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing this. Again, I haven't commentated on a full race for a long time, so I'm genuinely looking forward to commentating on 71 laps. It's a very different dynamic, as I don't know if everyone in chat cares, but it's a very different dynamic for commentators to commentate on a full race compared to a 50% race. So it's just another skill set, and it's great to be able to do it again. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a great race to watch and to try and commentate over. Just to remind you what's happened last time we were here in Mexico. Last time was out, actually. Season 4, round number 4. That's how long it's been since we've come to Mexico. It was Meraki somehow taking the victory over Team Malik, who finished in P2, and Vince finishing in P3. It was Ben Daly that rounded out P2 by getting pole position and the fastest lap to boot as well. And it was Razin Chai that got the intermediate fastest lap in our qualifying session. Is it no rules race? Nope, it was just for the sprint. So everything is back to normal for our full race. Drivers will have to use the track limits to the fullest extent. They are not allowed to extend those white lines.
Yes, obviously that was just for the sprint. If you joined us for the sprint and you were like, this is a bit silly, don't worry, we have a full race for you, and it's all going to be good. And we are actually just getting the lobby restarted right now, because Infratic decided to do his... Did you see that as well?
I've just seen a Mercedes F1 car do a backflip on the grid.
He's done a Grand Joe at the British Grand Prix.
It was more spectacular than that. I would normally go across and show you, but the moment is past now, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was...
It was up on its rear wing for a considerable amount of hang time.
I do hope someone has a clip of that that we can use for something, because that was very interesting indeed. But yeah, we're looking forward to getting started with this one. 18 minutes as well. So how does, say, TK, how would like a 18-minute qualifying session be different to like a full one? How do drivers sort of prepare for that?
So, I mean, it's a real challenge for some of our drivers, because normally when we have these full qualifying sessions, they only are concerned about getting that intermediate lap and then just making sure they get their way through to safety. So they just don't want to end up in the bottom 5 for a full qualifying. The status quo changes when we head into this short qualifying session, because if they want to go for that fastest lap or the intermediate fastest lap, they have to sacrifice essentially a whole entire run to be able to get it to do so, because you won't have as many opportunities to go for pole position, which carries the same amount of points.
Yeah, and I mean that is obviously a very good point. Well done, sir. Sorry, I was listening to your point, but I was also wondering why Infratic has decided to park up by the fire station.
No idea. I think that's going to be a chat question for Infratic, but they are now all retired, all getting ready to go racing. So let us know in chat who you're rooting for, who you are supporting, also where you're watching from, and we will shout you out on the broadcast.
Yeah, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
I want to be shouted out by TK or Tom TK Knight.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
Nope. No, never gonna let that go. I'm just Alex Heron. That's just my name. I don't have my fake name put in my name. Just saying, but it's all good. But yeah, of course, the other thing you should do, we're gonna do a bit of plugging here. You should go follow all the Creator Series stuff that's above our heads. Obviously, go check out the YouTube, the Instagram, the Twitter, and the TikTok. That's where you can find out all the clips if you did want to watch the full broadcast after the race.
Yeah, normally Instagram and TikTok have some amazing clips from the chaos and calamity. I'm sure there'll be quite a few from that sprint race, because that was just chaotic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that my through goes Tom moment gets put on the TikTok. I don't know who's in charge of the TikTok.
It's a very good question. I know who our video editor is, so
Okay.
maybe we'll drop him a slide DM later and just point out that that is available for him.
Yeah, just to point that out. That's that's all good. But yes, we are going to get started very shortly. Short qualifying and then a full race. And of course, we should point out as well, it is dynamic weather, as far as I believe. So
Yes.
there is a chance of a little bit of rain. I have seen rain happen, and it tends to be, I don't know if this is true, but from what I've seen in my research, when you run a full race, you're more likely to get a wet weather in it.
Interesting. I did not know. I mean, we've had rain, at least in the last 2 qualifying sessions, if not the last 3 or 4. So who knows what we're going to see in the full
I think
race.
it's over a longer period of time, because I'm sure you've been in those 50% races where you ask Mark and Mark tells you you're going to get rain in 15 minutes, but the race is over in the next 5. So we'll see. But it's been set to sunny on the thing, so maybe it's not dynamic weather.
I think the first one is realistic, and then it's dynamic for the rest of the slots, from what I remember.
Okay.
Viva in chat, Alex showed great corner cutting pace. It'll be interesting to see him be as quick in this race with the rules back on. I wonder if anyone's going to go through turn 1 and forget the rules are on.
Someone just completely just flats turn 1. I can see it happening.
I can see it happening, and then they'll get an immediate 3-second penalty for corner cutting.
That'll be 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be jumping ahead of certain cars. It'd be like whoever's last place will be like, they won't know. And then they've got like 20 seconds of time penalties because they've jumped 20 cars. But it's all good. It'll be fine. But yeah, we're already readying up. We're ready to go to this qualifying session. We're already getting started.
Happy days. No lobby, no grid to set this time, so it is considerably quicker.
Yes, it certainly is. And of course, a short qualifying session, then a 71 lap preceding it. A 71 lap race preceding it, which I'm very much looking forward to. And yeah, it's a great circuit, Mexico. I'm personally a big fan of it. I know some people don't like it because they think, it's just long straights, but no, it's more than that. It's quite a tactical circuit, in my opinion. And as far as I remember, I know the undercut is very powerful in this year's game, but the undercut around this circuit is particularly powerful.
Certainly is. We got essentially 3 straights for our drivers to contend with, 3 DRS zones, one down into turn 1 as we've seen quite famously, one down into turn number 4, and then another one out of the S's in towards the stadium section, which I will probably end up calling the castle section at one point, because I remember last time we were in Mexico I called it the castle section far too many times. Maybe Baku was just too ingrained in my mind.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a good circuit, Baku, as well. Let's all remember, we all love Baku. But yeah, we're here in Mexico. Great fans as well for Mexico. One of the best fans on the calendar. And do have we got any Mexican drivers in the lobby? Don't think so.
Not to my knowledge. I might be wrong with that, and that will sound really bad considering I've commentated pretty much for the last 2 months.
That's why I threw it to you, because then I don't have a problem if it's things. So.
We'll see. I don't think we do. Not that memory serves me correctly anyway. As I just sit more upright in my seat, getting ready. But we are heading into the lobby. We've got 25 seconds. Drivers are just choosing their tyre allocations, which I'm going to assume 90% of them will go for softer, because hard tyres, they're still banned.
Yep, you cannot use the hard tyres. So you might as well use the softer set, as you mentioned. You get 4 sets of soft tyres then, and you also, I believe, get 2 sets of mediums for the main race, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you do, yeah. So it's going to be real challenge. I think drivers are going to have to struggle to extend their tyres here.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy that I would do in my head is you do start on mediums, then go medium again, and then probably go soft.
Wow, all could be thrown out the air if a safety car comes the way of our drivers. Who knows? Because that can quite possibly happen. But we are here. We are ready to go and Mexico. We'll switch across to Alex's favourite scene that exists in the world.
It's 2-cam plus game.
It is the 2-cam plus game. Or as we like to call it here, the comms side-by-side race view.
Now, 2-cam plus game is much better. That was TK's name for it that he came up with, and I've mentioned it on every broadcast we've ever done together. So drivers are getting ready for their intermediate part of this qualifying session. Now, I believe, what is the rules for when can they set their lap times on the inters, TK?
So they must finish their intermediate laps, but by the time the 12 minutes has ticked onto our screens, I've got a separate timer up on my screen this week, so I'll be able to see constantly when that 12 minutes ticks over and who set the fastest lap on the Inters. So we'll have no concern over it when the yellow flags inevitably end up flying.
Yes, it's likely to happen, and no one's cut turn 1, so they've all remembered that the rules are back on, and they should not be affecting them. But yeah, Safso is the one lining up for his first intermediate qualifying run. Now, of course, if you're joining us for the Creator Series for the first time ever, first of all, welcome. And we hope you've enjoyed the sprint race. But if you're curious why a lot of these drivers come out on intermediate tires, because we also run an intermediate championship in qualifying. And obviously, the fastest driver with the fastest intermediate time at the end of the first, when it reaches 12 minutes, you get, is it an extra point?
An extra point in the championship.
An extra point in championship. So that is, it's all to play for here for these interlaps. So I was going to say, PK, I was going to let you take you through Safso's lap, but it's up to you if you want to.
Well, let's run it through together and see what the man with the most race starts in Creator Series history can put together. Just making their way through the stadium section now, through turns 16 and 17 to start his lap off, and that rear wing will fly open in a short amount of time.
Yes, it's actually a slightly shorter DRS straight. I think they shortened it for this year recently because you actually started a bit later. But then you hit the brakes about the 100-meter board, maybe a bit later, as you get a good entry into the first very difficult braking point and clonking those curbs before getting another DRS open as we get down into what is the end of the first sector.
It is indeed heavy braking zone once again, and probably one of the most technical series of corners on this Mexican circuit, because you're flung left and then it's immediate double right-hander for you to have to contend with, and you have to get it absolutely perfectly, otherwise those track limits will tend to bite you in the rear.
And here's another place that can bite your track limits into the S section. You've got to be really careful to ride those curbs because you want to make this nice and flat. He's done that so brilliantly. There appears to be a car going backwards there. I'm going to guess that's Hayden Gullis.
You would guess correctly.
Well, it seems like I know him well. As we go into the stadium section here, got to clonk that curb on the inside, ride that curb on the outside, and then one final acceleration zone before you pull your lap time up. As George has retired on track, he may have hit someone on track. I think he's hit Yorit.
Yep, I think he has. As you can see, the Williams rather stranded there as we watch aboard Razin Chai invalidating their run. So Safso's come across the line. Mr. Dale invalidated their time through the stadium section, so we'll keep an eye on the times as they come thick and fast. Alex Gillen just starting his off. Tom now sets the fastest lap time on the intermediates. Mike Donaldi wasting no time going straight onto the soft tyres, so he will be the quickest and the lap time to beat at the moment. But Infratic now on the intermediates has taken, well, for Inter's pole as things stand.
Yep, I'm going to guess Hayden's not going to get that into pole just by his pace at current.
He gets the bonus point for reversing the quickest, though. That's what I heard.
He gets the commentator's point, and that's what matters the most.
Exactly.
It's not an actual point, but it's what it is.
It is what it is, indeed. Watching on board with Hayden Gullis, we'll try and jump back and see who's going around. Alex Gillen heading through the castle section at the moment. And as we head through, I think he's decided to go on soft. He's wasting no time on intermediates here.
It's going to be a cracking lap. 1:14.2 as it's a Kick Sauber 1-2 here at the start.
Certainly is, and it is a full purple lap for himself. 1, 2, and 3, and rightfully so, as he's 1.6 seconds quicker than anybody else at the moment. 1 minute and 14 seconds left for any drivers to get their intermediate runs done. I think there's quite a few that are going to try and attempt it at least.
I'm going to point out that Hayden's first sector is slower than Alex Gillen's entire lap.
That should be an award in itself.
And he's also invalidated.
Crazy there, actually getting the fastest intermediate lap time at the moment, so just pipping out Infratic and Meraki, 1:16.433, an incredible lap time on the intermediates.
Yeah, it is. That's a really stonking lap time on the inters. I mean, right now that is intermediate pole. And is there anyone else that's being able to is on a quick lap on the inters right now? Who else is out on a lap? Dragonfly's into the pits, Bushy Hanson's into the pits, and the only other driver out on the inters is Hayden Gullis.
Yep, and some say he's not going to be getting the fastest lap at the moment. That car well and truly in reverse, in typical Hayden form, becoming the moving roadblock for a lot of our drivers.
I'm surprised he's not been disqualified yet.
You don't get disqualified for reversing backwards, ironically.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
He's also opened the DRS as well,
Yeah,
which
I was
is
going to say
incredible.
he can open DRS while going backwards. Well, he's got the stadium section to go. It's a tricky stadium section, this.
But we have passed that initial timer. We are under 12 minutes, and that confirms that Kryzix gets the intermediate lap time here.
Hayden didn't even manage to do one lap backwards before. And he's going to cross the line now. What is his lap time going to be, ladies and gentlemen?
A 2-minute 51.
51.3.
Still not the slowest man out there at the moment. That's all I'm going to say.
No, it's certainly not. Is he going to reverse all the way back to the pit lane?
Probably. It wouldn't be unusual for Hayden to do at least 3 or 4 laps in reverse, if not the entire qualifying session. So we'll see what does happen. But F1 Scott starting their initial lap, deciding to bolt on a set of the softs. No intermediates for them in the opening run. So what could F1 Scott do after a great career in F2 so far?
Great career F2, and of course part of the commentators union as well. So we have to be big fans of F1 Scott. I've seen him race a couple of times, and I mean he's got a decent chance of getting a okay qualifying on the board. Let's see what he can do. But my goodness me, Alex Gillen, sir, 1:13.7.
Almighty lap from Alex Gillen, just proving that he is the quickest at the moment, but I have a feeling more laps are to come in the next 10.5 minutes. More yellow flags in Sector 1. You don't have to be a genius to guess that is indeed Hayden Gullis. Interestingly enough, it says that Razinchai did the fastest lap time of 1 minute 1, but I have a strong suggestion that that might have broken a few track limits.
I'm going to guess so, yes. I think he might have cut a corner, and it must have been one hell of a corner cut.
Yeah, so that would explain why he's down in P11 at the moment. Of course, no valid lap time. Well, one valid lap time, 1:18.1 for himself. Keeping an eye on board with F1 Scott as they come round. It's not been a bad first few sectors for himself. Very good first few sectors as he jumps up to P2.
Well done, sir. He's Hayden Gullis has got a 5 grid place penalty for a collision with Alex Gillen.
I don't think that's going to matter when he's wanting to start from the back of the grid anyway, and he is facing the right way for the first time this session, avoiding a little nudge there from Tim Armada, because he's learned from previous qualifying, if someone decides to give him a push, they'll get disqualified.
Well, maybe that's what his plan was. Didn't work out in his favour, though.
It didn't this time around. We'll keep an eye on Lolly Noba, Dragonflies and Bushy Ants as well. They're about to come round the final few corners. It will be Lolly Noba, the first out of those trifecta of drivers that will set a valid lap time. What's the sector's been? Been a very good first sector for himself. Tom goes fastest, 1:13.779. What can Lolly Noba do up towards the line? P4, 1:14.428.
Good lap there. Oh, Dragonflies is invalidated in the stadium section.
Purple Sector 2, according to the game for Bushy Ants there. Take that with a slight pinch of salt. I think he is about 1.5 seconds off what Tom did last time around. But it is going quicker for the Alpine driver. At the moment, we've got an Alpine sandwich.
We certainly do. Where is Bushy Ants going to put his Alpine? Crossing the line now. Goes 5th fastest with a 1:14.5 there. John Morse's lap time in that car for sure. Tim Marduk, he's on a lap right now, 7/10 up in the first sector, just going through the middle sector as we speak.
He is indeed. Dark Viper just getting out of the way at the stadium section. Sorry, through the S's. Got rather out of shape as they managed to make their way through turns 9 and turns 10. But Tim Mark at the moment, purple middle sector. That is accurate. He is the fastest man in the middle sector at the moment. Can he match it with the third sector as well? Into the final corner he goes. Long right-hander through turn number 17. What can the man from down under do as he comes up towards the line? It is fastest. 1:13.778. Exactly 1,000 quicker than Tom set.
Well, I mean, that's laying down a marker, but laying down a marker by, what, 1,000th of a second? Oof. Good lap, though.
Fantastic lap from himself. Araguri just starting off on a run for themselves. Hayden Gullis, are they still going backwards? Yes, they are.
Of course they are. DRS open, though.
And here comes the nudge from Tim Marduk. Let's see if any disqualification happens.
Hayden was maybe looking for it, but I thought that was someone trying to use that Hayden slipstream, but I don't know how does slipstream work when someone's reversing?
I actually have no idea, and I've never even thought to mention it because you'd be going so slow. I think it would have very little effect. Mr. Dale down in P15, setting a lap time there. I think Nogueira up to P4 after a second run for themselves on the soft tyre.
Elray's just going through the middle sector now. Actually, did use Hayden's slipstream going down towards the S section.
Not sure how much it would have helped him, but we'll keep an eye. He's a second now, 2.5 seconds quicker. It's a purple Sector 1 and Sector 2. Ferrari Guri, but it's an invalidated lap.
Just on the limit. But you've got to be to get that pole lap. It's just a little bit too much. Will he dive into the pits or is he going to finish his lap? He will finish it. What time would he have done? Would have been enough for pole.
Yep, 13.724 would have beaten Team Amardic by about half a tenth there. And what could have been, eh?
What could have been? Mr. Dale going for his lap now as well, but he's gone a bit wide and it's definitely cost him. The commentary's curse. I'm so sorry, Dale. I've just come to you and you were just absolutely making a little bit of a mistake on that corner. One final corner to go, but I think he's gonna finish his lap. Where do you think he's gonna put it? I think he's gonna put it P5. P8.
P8, considering how close some of these drivers are at the moment, I mean, top 8 all separated by less than a second. Incredible stuff. And Mr. Dale actually making that the top 8 now. It was originally the top 7. So everyone from 9th below has some work to do if they wish to try and catch up.
That does. Oh, who just jumped up there? Was that
Safso?
Yes,
up to P5.
Very nice. Oh, just going to go side by side with his teammate there.
A little bit of teammate communication there. They can't have team radio, but maybe some hand signals from the car.
Yeah, I hope Hayden can get a valid lap on the board because I think it's going to be disappointing qualifying if he doesn't get one.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid this lap at the moment. I have a feeling he's probably not far off running out of fuel, though.
Nope, he's got 5 laps left.
Ah, he's got plenty of fuel.
Someone's just jumped up there as well. I saw that. Mike goes 7th fastest.
Does indeed. Still purple sector 2 and 3 for Team Marduk, though. So looking absolutely stellar in the opening runs. I'm trying to keep an eye on who has Sector's 1 fastest lap. It doesn't quite appear on my screen just yet. We'll keep an eye on Razin Chai as he makes his way through the second sector, looking to improve from a 1:18.1 down in P15. Slowest of the drivers that have set a lap time here this afternoon. Through the S-bends he goes. Can he keep it valid, though?
Yeah, it's so tricky because you've got to keep it nice and flat because if you want to be fast, but if you do a little bit too much, then you're going to invalidate. As he does do 2 seconds faster than the second. That is purple, apparently, to take it with a pinch of salt. Unless PK can confirm otherwise. But we go through the stadium section now. A couple of corners to go. It is going to be a valid lap, and it's going to be a faster lap for Razin Chai. Where can he put his car? As Meraki gets a 5-place grid penalty. As Razin Chai crosses the line, goes 5th fastest, 14.1.
Yep, good lap time there. It wasn't quite purple in the middle sector. That's still held by Team Marduk about 2 tenths quicker than the Ferrari did this time around. So Meraki, wherever he qualifies now, will be starting at least 5 places further behind alongside Hayden Gullis, of course, also falling victim to a 5-place grid penalty. I think another driver came across the line there, potentially the Mercedes of Dark Viper GT. Yes, it was up to P9 for themselves. Still a considerable distance off their teammate Nogueira, who's about 4 tenths quicker.
Here's Dark Viper taking a little trip through the gravel there, is he? I think he's just avoiding cars. Just want to point out, Hayden's still on a valid lap, by the way.
Yeah, Bushy Ants jumping himself up to P5, the Alpine being the slowest of the two at the moment. Still about 2.5 tenths off his teammate Tom, who stands in P2 at the moment. And Crysis has been disqualified for facing the wrong way.
That's an interesting disqualification. But Hayden Gullis is going to get a lap time on the board. It's a 2:47.
I consider that the fastest lap time that anybody has done, facing the wrong way.
Yeah. That's the facing the wrong way pole position.
Doesn't carry an extra point, unfortunately, so Hayden will have to go again, albeit with only 2 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock. I don't think he's going to be able to get round.
Well, not if he's going backwards.
We'll keep an eye out, though. Lots of drivers are running laps already. Safso is out for their second running. And we'll keep an eye on where the V-Carb can do. At least one of them is facing the right way in this qualifying session.
The interesting thing, Hayden won't be the slowest car on track, though.
Well, at the moment, so Dragonfly's still yet to set a valid lap time. It still is all to play for as Alex Gillen decides he cannot go faster. We've had someone park it up in Sector 1. I'm going to assume that is indeed Eden Gullis. And yes, it was. Pointing the right way for once.
Oh, maybe he's going to do a actual lap, or is he going to go into the pits and retire?
Who knows? If anything is to go by, Hayden Gullis is a wild card in himself. So you never quite know what he's about to do.
He's 8 seconds up on his first sector.
I wonder why.
He was only going forward for about, well, 8 seconds, I guess.
F1 Scott, I think, charging to the line here, trying to get in a valid lap time. He'll go again. Of course, he's on his out lap at the moment. Rounds the final corner with 1 minute and 24 seconds left on our qualifying clock. Rounds the corner, and he will have enough time to start a final run. Safso in P7 into the pit lane. Couldn't go quicker and does thus for retire. Both Haas cars coming around the final corner now. It looks like they're going to give each other a tow.
Yep, they're going to see if they can work the tow out here down the back straight. Who's going to... Well, I think we know who's going to pull to the side. Or are they? Are they just working... No, I think just working a bit of tandem here.
Yeah, that is certainly what it's looking like at the moment. We know how powerful the slipstream can be, especially through corners on F1 24 at the moment, so it could benefit both of them here.
Yeah, it certainly could. As in fact, it goes 4th fastest, puts themselves on the 2nd row, but there's still quite a few cars to set their lap times behind.
Yep, lots just getting themselves prepped and ready. Razin Chai will be the next one to cross the line to start their final run. The Kick Sauber, Mike Donaldi will be next, of course, looking to start their run as well with about 20 seconds left in this qualifying. I think it will be one of the Williams cars, potentially Baraki, heading through the middle sector. Everybody just getting themselves prepped and ready to go with not much time left in the session. Dark Viper is cutting it very close here with 15 seconds to get through the stadium section.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get very close. Let's just keep an eye on Dark Viper, see where he goes. Coming around the final corner now. 7, 5, 4, 3. He does make it just.
Wow.
Just to the line.
Talk about close together. We have got both Hasses coming up to the line. Lolly Noba couldn't improve from 12th. And Dragonflies joins him in 13th. So the pair once again in unison here. Next across the line, I think, will be the V-Cub of Hayden. He couldn't improve from P17. Couldn't set a valid lap time. Also on the intermediates next will be Mr. Dale. No, it won't. It'll be Ari Guri who goes fastest. 1:13.761. One behind him. It'll be the Williams and Meraki going fastest. 1:13.6 for themselves. Mr. Dale, can we make it 3 from 3? I don't think we're going... No, it's not going to. Oh my goodness.
He's done a Bottas. Oh no.
Both Ferraris into the pit lane there. They deciding they cannot go quicker. Tom will be next across the line. He's not improving. He's diving into the pit lane as well. Naguera, they've invalidated their run, but at least will cross the line to get it valid on the board. F1 Scott has invalidated their lap time as well. So drivers are not finding track limits too well.
And Ben's backed off too. So I think Meraki's on pole.
I think he has. It's the only driver that can do it because Dark Viper has invalidated their run. Mike Donaldi has invalidated their run as well. So yeah, Meraki then on pole at the last chance of asking.
Well, it was a cracking lap time right at the death. And he's put it on pole. He's on the front run with Elray. And then it's Ben. And then it's Tom.
Well, if it's anything to go by, the person who got pole last time out in Season 4 ended up in P2. Meraki, of course, got the victory last time out in Season 4. So if he can convert this pole position to a win, it'll be a good stat for the history books. Team Armada getting the fastest lap as well from pole position. So who knows? Anything can happen here. But all we do know is Meraki starts from the front.
It certainly does. Great lap time for Meraki, and he's on the front row.
Wait for everybody to get in towards the pit lane. There we go. We get everything off the screen and confirmation that Meraki starts in first. We'll run through your complete qualifying order in just a moment. Once it's up on our screens, there we go. Meraki, of course, getting that 5-place grid penalty, so will indeed start P6. It's Ray Guri that starts on the front row alongside Team Armada. Tom and Alex Gillen sharing the second row. And then it is F1 Scott who will start in P5. Meraki will start in P6 with Infratic, Naguera, Bushians, Razin Chai, Safso, Mike Donaldi, Dark Viper, Lolly Nova, Dragonflies, Mr. Dale behind them. And then it'll be T. George in P17. Yorit is up to P18. P19 will go to Crazy because he's got disqualified. And Hayden Gullis will start from the back of the grid.
it was an interesting qualifying session, and now we have a race to go.
We do indeed. Drivers will have to get their setups prepped and ready. Of course, no hard tyres in operation for this Grand Prix, and it is looking rather sunny here in Mexico City.
Yes, it certainly is. No rain. Well, we don't have rain expected. We don't know.
We'll wait for confirmation on the rain.
Yes, we will.
But we will just wait. Oh, my apologies. We'll wait for everybody to just get themselves prepped and ready. We'll go back to our faces for just a couple of moments. We'll have the race screen still up on the side for you lovely people at home to keep an eye on the track action as it goes. Certainly, I can tell the crowd here in Mexico are so pumped to go racing. They're all clapping already, even though drivers are just on the grid.
Yes, they're all preparing. They're famous stars, TK. Why wouldn't they clap when they saw them?
That is very true. I'd be clapping if I saw this event in real life as well.
Yes, exactly. I would be.
But hopefully not too much longer. Let us know in chat who you are rooting for as well, and who you want to see on the top step of that podium at the end of 71 laps of racing. Of course, no wildcard in play in the main race this afternoon. That was all done and dealt with in the sprint race. Track limits completely turned off for our drivers, and we saw carnage, we saw chaos, and maybe even a little bit of calamity in there as well.
Yes, I'm sure we will see some interesting racing now. But of course, rules are on. They can't cut any corners.
Yeah, let us know as well who you think that first track limits penalty is going to go to, because I'm going to say it now. I'm going to call it nice and early. I think there will be quite a few for our drivers to contend with, especially through the S section, maybe even the first couple of corners as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy for sure, but they're going to deal with it. They're professional drivers here. They know what they're doing.
They are indeed. They're well versed. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to handle the cars, albeit slightly differently from how they handled the sprint race. But I do wonder if we'll see anybody slip into old habits, especially after a break week, and maybe see the hards as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what can happen here, and I'm interested to commentate on the next 71 laps. It's going to be very interesting indeed.
Certainly is indeed. Well, hopefully we are going racing in just a couple of moments' time. There's been no confirmation of lobby restarts, which is always good, and we have got drivers out to go ready for their formation lap.
We certainly do, and El Rey is on pole position here, and of course a mixture of the softs and mediums is going to do it.
It is indeed. Let's see what Eric Gurry can cook up from pole position. Timo Mardix joins him on the front row, as we have already got an Alpine into the wall. Alex Gillen getting disqualified as well. Bushy Ants will be that Alpine that will start with cold tyres. Hayden Gullis is taking no prisoners on this formation lap, just reminding himself of what the sprint lap looked like.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they're getting much better. And they're just preparing themselves for the lack of track limits by taking the track limits.
Yep. Well, there we go. Forcing himself and Timo Mardix to start from the grid. I think Hayden Gullis actually managed to get away with that, as there's contact with Eric Gurry there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that forces the Rebel to start from the start line. But as you can see on your track map at the bottom right-hand side, there are 3 drivers on the grid with cold tyres. Timo Mardix, Alex Gillen, and Bushy Ants falling victim to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've the amount of times I've been disqualified off formation I've had. But Tom is already back to the grid, by the way.
That he is. But fortunately, tyres seem to hold their heat here magically on the grid once the formation lap is complete, so they won't be too concerned about that. It is one of the Haas cars that starts from the back and will pull up tyres for everybody at home, and it is a lovely rainbow of just red and yellow.
Yeah, as got some donuts on the grid.
Is that Hayden Gullis by any chance?
I think well, no, Hayden's disqualified, isn't he? Oh no, he did make it to the grid in time.
Can we turn Alex up a bit? Sure.
Am I a bit quiet?
You are a little bit, but I think that's because we're doing that conversation thing. Once he gets into the race, it'll be fine.
Yeah, do apologise, everyone.
Well, Alex, we're getting ready to go racing. I'll let you take this race start as we see Gurry and Timo Mardix battle from the front.
As we go through your red lights here, 5 are on. and 5 are off, and we're underway for the Mexico Grand Prix. And it's a tentative start once again, but El Guri has got a great start as we race down towards turn 1. Apart from Tiamat, who's dropping back down the grid, he's not had a good start. And Tom challenging already. Tiamat back up into third. We got a 5-wide moment into turn 1 as 3 of them go into the first braking zone. And Ben is battling with Tom and Meraki getting through as well as we race down towards the first corner. But Elray leads by 1 second already. Ben in second place, Tom in third, Infratic in fourth, chasing down the pack with Meraki and Gillen going wheel to wheel.
Yep, everybody having good track limits. You can see how tight the squeeze is there through turn 4 and 5. It's absolutely incredibly close between a lot of our drivers, but El Rey still leads from Tim and Marduk, who's already been dropped out of DRS range. 1.2 seconds is the advantage as we head through the S section.
Certainly do, and yeah, El Guri got a great launch at the start of that race, and Ben just kind of bogged down a bit, but he managed to hold on to that second place as here comes Gillen down the inside. He's going to go for it on Meraki. Can't make it stick. Those medium tyres, though, are going to be interesting as the top 4, well, 3 of them on softs, 1 of them on mediums.
Yep, they are indeed. The question will be, how long can Alex Gillen take those medium tyres, and how long are they going to be able to extend them over the course of the Grand Prix? But Guri still leads from Timo Marduk from Tom, and then Infratic up in P4. This is how your positions have changed over this opening lap of racing. Infratic already up 3, but the biggest loser, Bushy Ants, down 5.
Down 5 already at the start of this race. Not a good start for him. And a couple of places changing towards the back, Laurie Nova and Mr. Dale going wheel to wheel into that first sector as Tom is now into second place ahead of Infratic, as there's some possible race strategies on my screen, but they involve the hard tyres, so that will not be useful information for us.
They won't indeed. Naguera, they're just swooping around the outside of F1 Scott as well, getting up to P7. Razin Chai will want to try and follow him through. Safso trying to, push his way through as well as they head in towards the S section, down in P11 at the moment. He won't want to see that. We've got a yellow flag further back. I think that might be Kryzik's into the wall.
Yep, Kryzik's into the wall in the first corner. Not gone well for the Aston Martin driver, but a long way to go, and I'm sure there'll be a safety car at some point during the race. But yeah, looking at these tyres, so basically everyone inside the top 10 right now is on soft apart from Gillen and Infratic, and then from about 12th down, it is medium tyres apart from Gullis and George, who are on the softs.
Yep, it is rather interesting to see what tyres our drivers have chosen for this Grand Prix. Timo Marduk now pounces around the outside with the DRS advantage and gets up to P2. That's an easy pass in the end. Both those drivers on the softer tyres. We head into lap 3 of 71. It's a long old slog here in Mexico, and I think they're in for the long run.
Yep, they certainly are. I mean, they're going to try and work together probably to chase down El Guri, who's still leading this Grand Prix. A little bit late on the brakes there is Ben. I think he's made a little bit of an error not hitting the apex there, but hey, I'm just a commentator.
There's a good battle going on further back as well between Dark Viper and Safso. They're swapping positions to Safso up in towards the top 10. That's a good move for himself as he looks to try and challenge through. Joran van Geffen pipping out Hayden Gullis as those two go side by side in towards the S section. This never ends well. They're still side by side through the S's, through the twists and turns. Different tyres between the both of them, and it's Joran that comes out on top.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's battling with Hayden Gullis. I mean, these two, I mean, they're both part of some big networks, but they're now having a big network battle from here at the Mexican Grand Prix. As Hayden now going down the inside. You don't see an overtaking move there very often, and that's the reason why. Only if you had a better camera angle, TJ.
that would have been the hope, but Hayden Gullis will have to settle for P18 at the moment. T. George is trying to attack him down, though, in towards the first corner. There's no changes made at the top of the table as things stand. Eric Guri, though, has well and truly been reeled in by Timo Marduk. They're now nose to bumper as we head on to lap 4.
Yeah, they certainly are. It's Hayden trying to go down the inside once again, but he can't make the move stick. But yeah, Ben is now chasing down El Guri, who's used a lot of DRS here at the start of the race. Actually, a lot of them have used a lot of their ARS.
Yep, trying to stay ahead, just notably there for a brief moment. Hayden Gullis already having wing damage on that V-carb cast. That could explain the man's lack of pace through the opening laps of this Grand Prix. No damage to report for our front 3, and also no rain to report in the next few minutes.
And no rain to report for rain in the next few minutes, or no rain?
No rain to report.
No rain to report in the next few minutes. Well, it's still an interesting fight here at the front three, but Infratic, thought about a move down the inside there in the stadium section, but Tom defended.
He certainly did indeed, just holding on from Infratic there, rounds the final corner, and they'll potentially try and get the slipstream down in towards turn number 1. Meraki trying to follow him through, of course qualifying first, but dropping down with that 5-place grid penalty, already making one up past Alex Gillen, who had a really poor race start. Bushiant's further back, getting past Mike Donaldi, but there's been a change at the head of the table. It's Tim Mardik that now takes the lead of this Grand Prix. So we start 5 of 71.
Yeah, he certainly does. Ben into the lead of the Grand Prix with Elray chasing him down with Tom in 3rd place. But Elray did hold on for a while. But right now, on lap 5, it's Tiamat at the lead. But a long way to go here, TK.
It is indeed. We still have an incredible race distance for our drivers to cover. Every single lap seems to go quicker and quicker with how short or how few turns there realistically are here at Mexico City. So much of this circuit taken up by straights, and of course DRS straights to boot that as well. It's an almighty run down towards turn number 1, which all of our drivers will want to use to their advantage. But I have a feeling, and I know we're calling this early, but nobody's going to want to be leading on to this final lap.
Yes, I mean, DRS chicken, question mark. I expect to see it. I'm sure it's completely legal. So, I mean, it's one of those things. But Ben is leading as it stands. But Elray will probably want to get in front of him here. But is Meraki lining up for a move on Infratic? Are we going to see these two come together, come to blows on the circuit? But Alex Gillen kind of biding his time here. But here comes Elray. Will he go round the outside? Will he fire it round the outside of Tiernan Marduk? He might go for it, as Infratic also thought about a move on Tom. Oh, a little bit of a bump on the curb there has cost him some time, but also, I believe, cost him some front wing.
Yeah, damage to Infratic's Ferrari there. That's not what he would have wanted to see. Starting on the mediums, wanting to take them slightly longer than a few of our other drivers. Meraki and Alex Gillen going side by side into turns 4, 5 and 6. Can Meraki try and hold it round the inside? He's later on the brakes, and he has held the position for the time being. They're side by side once again in towards the S's. Gillen down the inside this time.
Yeah, certainly so. What a move there. Into the S section, and Gillen up in 4th place, chasing down the back of Tom now, and we know exactly what's going to happen when these two come to blows. But of course, his arch rival, they hate each other.
Well, they have certainly come to blows over multiple times in the Creator Series. Let's see what is going to happen as the inevitable becomes more and more likely. Gillen will be trying to chase down with the DRS assistance down in towards turn number 1. He's got an Alpine in the way of his arch nemesis, but I think he'll be able to dispatch him rather quickly.
Yeah, he certainly will. But Ben now going back into the race lead ahead of Elray Guri there, up into the lead of the Grand Prix. As Gillen now chasing down the back of Tom. But he's on those medium tyres, remember. And I wonder what the strategy here is going to be. Is it going to be a 2-stop? Is it going to be a 3-stop?
Well, I'm sure our drivers in the cockpit will know the answer to that. Tom looking for each anyway past Elray Guri there as we head into turn number 4. So far unsuccessful. Every call that Tom has been making to that Red Bull has been answered by Elray Guri, but at the moment still under pressure, not free from the likes of the Dutchman as we head in towards the S section. Mistakes could be costly.
It certainly could do, as we got our first of, I'm sure, many 3-second time penalties going to come across here in the Grand Prix. But Gillen just behind the back of Tom here, but he's biding his time. He knows what he's doing. He's on those medium tyres. He won't make any rash moves.
He certainly won't. He's learned from past mistakes. Is it going to be a dive down the inside? Yes, it is. They're wheel to wheel. Can Gillen try and squeeze around the outside of turn 15, 16 and 17? The answer, yes he can.
Well, I say no rash moves. Then he goes for one in the stadium section. He must be listening in. But here we go. He's now got one more car to pass before he's chasing down Theo Marduk. And as we mentioned, you know what happens when these two come to blows on circuit. Or are we going to see a double move here? He's going to go down the middle. Ben's got nothing to do. Or is Ben going to still fire around the outside? They go wheel to wheel into the first sector. Ben, can he hold it around the outside? I don't know if he can, you know. Will he get DRS? I don't think he does. No, he does not, because he was technically leading into the DRS detection zone. He defends from Tom. Tom will now fire around the outside, and Ben went from the 1st place to the 4th place in 2 corners.
Yeah, but he was trying to switch back there on Tom in towards turn number 5, turn number 6 as well, unsuccessfully though. And the Australian will just have to sit in P4. Yellow flags further back. Bushy Yance, I think, losing it on the corner exit. Yeah, we go. There's the Alpine stranded as Hayden Gullis comes swinging round. And I think there's damage to the Alpine as well.
I think it is unfortunate there for Bushy Yance. It's not been the best of weekend so far. Well, the best of Friday. Oh no, Saturday is weekend. Bloody hell. The best of Saturday so far for him. Oh, it's Mr. Dales hit that curb. And he's lost time as well, TK.
He has indeed. Naguera thought about a move on Team Marduk in towards the stadium section unsuccessfully, though. He had to back out. Won't be the wisest of moves to make, but Gillen is wasting no time, rather. He's already past El Guri before the rear wing opens on that kick Sauber, now weaving to try and break the slipstream.
Yeah, El Rey not been out challenging there, but Saxo is in the pits, by the way, TK.
Interesting stuff for the V-carb here. We still have a battle going on. Tom up past Timo Marlik, Bushy Yance into the pits, as is F1 Scott. All the drivers with damage potentially, or even just getting rid of the softs from this opening stint.
Yep, as now Infratic chasing down the back here, but are these softs starting to struggle on lap 8? It seems very early for them to struggle, but there's already a gap now formed as El Rey has pulled out of DRS of Tom.
He has indeed. We'll keep an eye on that situation as it develops. Team Marduk will now be all the more desperate to get past Tom as the rear sliding on that Alpine as they headed through turn 9 and 10. I wonder, as you said, if the soft tyre is starting to die out already.
We've got a yellow flag in the second sector. Is that Yorick going a bit slow? I think he's made a little bit of a mistake. I think you saw that on stream.
I think we managed to catch, well, what the camera angle gave us, let's say that. But Gillen now leads 1.3 seconds to the advantage of El Guri. Tom in P3, 1.8 seconds back in, diving into the pits on lap 10. The softs are not holding up.
No, they're certainly not. And I mean, that is big news for the guys on circuit that are on those medium tyres, because they know they'll have to run them at some point in this Grand Prix, as Ben has now fallen down to the 4th.
Yeah, I think drivers will now be expected to run the mediums for at least 25-30 laps each if they want to take this on the two-stop strategy. But it is going to be valuable information as the McLaren kicks out almightily out of turn 3 there.
It's going to allow Infratic to close up, but Infratic must know in the back of his mind, if these softs are already starting to struggle here, then Infratic has got a really good chance of getting ahead of these guys, because he's seen what Gillen's done, and Gillen's now 2.5 seconds up in the lead as we've got another yellow flag there, and that is for, I believe, George, who's starting to, well, he's got front wing damage, so he must have come to blows with someone.
Yep, certainly has. Just going slow in the approach, or the exit rather, of turn number 4 is a common place to make a mistake. If you lock up the brakes running no ABS and you just lose that turning ability, can't get the car rotated, and you will find yourself on the grass and the gravel. Someone who is making up positions on the other hand is Mr. Dale, as he's having a good battle here with Razin Chai in towards the stadium section. Side by side they go as the game gives us the worst possible camera angle. The Ferrari just holding on for the time being.
But is Mr. Dale going to switch back in? No, he's not. We've had a collision. There's a big collision. And it's just spinning all around. I think he tried to switch back in, but it's dropped Razin down the grid. And Dale is also struggling now as well.
Yeah, there's certainly damage on a number of cars there. I'm fairly sure we saw Mike Donaldi being the victim of one of them going into the back, if not Lolly Nova potentially missing. There we go, front left end plate on that Haas car. And driving on the mediums, you'd be looking to take them a little bit longer, and that's going to really hamper the race of the Italian.
Yeah, it certainly will. It's going to really slow down the grid. And Cryx has found himself up in, what, 8th place now. He's chasing down on Mike. He's had a much better race than he did in the sprint, that's for sure.
He has indeed, but he does also have front wing damage on that Aston Martin. Front right end plate missing. Bushy Yance retiring from the session. Not quite sure where that is. It looks down the start-finish straight if the map is telling us the correct thing. And that almost looks like a retirement whilst on track. So no safety car surely to be brought out here. But Alex Gillen already with a commanding lead over this Grand Prix. 4.8 seconds is the advantage back to El Guri. And unless we see a safety car, we might see a Gillen victory here this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, Gillen is absolutely mighty so far this afternoon. 5.5 seconds up the road of El Guri on the medium tyres. It seems that he's got this track nailed down at the moment. I'm surprised these guys on the soft tyres running a bit longer. Do you reckon they're going for that? Just maybe a two-stop? Oh, as he goes for the defence there. Sorry, as I just get very excited because he pulled to the inside to defend from Ben, but Ben's got 2 places in 1 braking zone.
He has indeed, Ariguri just managing to survive. There's a little bit of oversteer for that Red Bull car as now Emphatic looks to pounce on the mistake from the Red Bull racing driver. He's up and past as we head into turn number 4. Maybe looking for a move even on Nogueira on the dying soft tyres. The medium's really starting to come into their own here, but the chain has been broken. Alex Gillen 6 seconds up the road and clear, and wing damage I think is what's causing the majority of this, because you can see it on a couple of our drivers.
Yeah, wing damage struggling for, I believe, has Elray Jury got some front wing damage? No, he's still going. I think it's just, is it just Emphatic's got front wing damage?
I think you might be right. Definitely Emphatic with wing damage. Can't see anybody else at the present moment. Nogueira definitely doesn't. So yeah, the Scuderia at the moment making good progress, albeit with limited downforce in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's going okay for him at the moment, but those soft tyres will be wearing more. But yeah, as Meraki pulls into the pits now.
Yep, understandably, we'll pull the tyres up on your screens. Last, the soft tyre run is still out. Timo Mardik, Nogueira, Ariguri, Meraki into the pit lane. T. George and Hayden Gullis, the only drivers still running them at the moment, as Jori van Geffen gets past Meraki, who's in the pit lane. Nogueira up to P3, back past the Australian for the podium.
Yeah, Ben just losing out there on the main straight, but you kind of expect that. This circuit is very interchangeable in terms of you take the lead and I take the lead, you take the lead, I take the lead. But the lead of the race is Alex Gillen, and he's 7.5 seconds up the road.
Yep, unless we see a safety car here, I don't think we'll see anyone try and catch Alex Gillen unless we see an almighty undercut from someone. Elray Guri trying to battle out with Tim Mardik here through turns 4, 5 and 6. Still unsuccessful though, as finding a way past the man from down under.
Yeah, Ben still holding on strong to that 4th place with Elray Guri just behind him. But these soft tyres, only 4 drivers remain on the softs. Hayden, Naguri, Tim Mardik and Elray Guri.
Yep, so far so good. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them into the pit lane in the next few laps. We've seen how much they've struggled for a considerable number of our drivers over the opening 13 laps of this Grand Prix. And the question is, if not when, they do come into the pit lane to get a fresh set of rubber on. But at the moment, Emphatic leading this pack, all of them are staying out, hopefully trying to stay within that DRS range and be pulled along by each other.
Yeah, I imagine that's the plan here, but you've got to remember, I got to think for these guys on the soft tyres, that the guys on the mediums have got to run the softs. If they know how much they've been wearing, then surely the best thing is to get on that new set of tyres early, so you can pull this undercut as Meraki is battling with Hayden, and Meraki is up into 14th place. I think he got him in the final corner.
Yep, it certainly looks that way. Safso back past Tom as well, down and towards turn number 1. They exchanging positions, hand over fist as we continue through this Grand Prix. 14 of 71. We're approaching about a quarter race distance already. And considering some of our drivers have already made 1 pit stop, I wouldn't be surprised if we are expecting maybe, well, definitely the 2, if not a 3-stop strategy here.
Yeah, it must be like that, but surely, I just wonder what the mediums are going to go on to. Surely, are they going to do soft, or are they going to go medium, soft?
Guess we'll wait and see. If anyone is listening in to any of our creators, feel free to let us know in the live chat. And don't forget, you can join the conversation as well. Hashtag F1 Creator Series and all your favourite social platforms. And join the, well, get involved and say how you think the race is going from your perspective.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this one goes down, because obviously we're only on lap 15 of 71, still such a long way to go. But Mexico, of course, is one of the shortest circuits on the calendar.
It is. It is indeed. It's so quick. It's so long, but so quick. It's all over very, very quickly, considering how long the straights are here. Kryzik's looking for a move from the inside, from the outside. I'm not quite determined. He knows which way he wants to go in towards the opening corner. It was inside, then outside, then inside again. He was almost doing the hokey pokey.
Certainly was, and the hokey pokey is going on at the moment as Kryzik is going to try and successfully get past Elray Guri. You can see how these softs are starting to struggle. Sometimes it's quite hard to see where on a circuit, but you can see it with your own eyes right now. It's really Elray is struggling to hold it through that double right-hander.
He is indeed. It is, well, especially through the twists and turns of this S section as well. You can see the rears just wanting to let go, given every opportunity as they head through right, left and right. The rear end of that Red Bull really starting to kick out on him, and this is where Mike Donaldi might send a move down the inside in towards the stadium section, but he backs out.
Oh, it doesn't go for it. That's interestingly enough. I wonder why he didn't go for it, but I guess because he's going to have that DRS power.
I think he knows that it's the long game, especially in this Grand Prix. We see a couple of drivers in towards the pit lane. That's going to be Nogueira heading in first and foremost. Nobody else dives in to join him as Timo Mardik and Krajicek swapping positions there. So the Aston Martin pipping out the McLaren at the moment for the podium positions. Infratic has also checked out of this good mid-group battle as he's 1.5 seconds to the advantage. Maybe going on a Gillen hunt.
Going on a Gillen hunt. Oh, it's Lolly Noba. Went a little bit deep into the corner and Mike took full advantage of it, and it's cost Molinova 2 places there.
As indeed, Eric Geary and Mike Donaldi, both drivers slipping past the Haas driver in towards turn number 4. They've both kicked Saubers at the moment, running very well in this Grand Prix. I wonder if they've shared some tactics before the Grand Prix, but even so, Mike Donaldi in a reservist performance, looking like an almighty challenger.
Yeah, up in the top 5, and I mean, obviously still got a long way to go, as you said, but looking pretty good for him. Also, just what about Yore up in P8, the way he finished in the sprint?
He did indeed. Good points for, well, at least 1 point for him in the sprint race, and so far so good for himself in this feature race. He will have a load of drivers behind him who have pitted, and actually looking at the stats there, everybody except Dragonflies who's behind him has already pitted, so he has got some quick drivers on his tail, especially the likes of Sasso, Tom, Meraki, Nogueira will be approaching him at a rapid rate of knots.
Elray's in. Elray's in the pits. Assume that's for a set of medium tyres. It is.
Well, no hard tyres, of course, allowed in the Crazy Series. Krajicek's getting past Infratic here. So the Aston Martin on an almighty charge in the second stage of this race. Infratic, of course, checking out by about 1.5 seconds back to Timo Mardik. And now Krajicek has gone on a challenge all on his own with a double dose of DRS down towards turn number 4. I wonder if he can try reeling Gillen.
Well, that gap just went up to 10 seconds, DK.
Well, we'll keep an eye as things develop, and we'll keep an eye on that battle. Gillen, though, at the moment, in a league of his own through the twists and turns here in Mexico. And Fratic will try everything they can do to hold on to the Aston Martin. The kick Sauber of Mike Donaldi also on a good run so far as he's dropping Timo Mardik almost out of DRS range himself.
He certainly is. And I mean, Ben surely is going to be thinking about pitting soon. 16 laps on those soft tyres, they're going to start struggling a lot. I wonder if he's thinking maybe it's time for the mediums.
I think that will be a question in his mind, but if he can extend the softs as long as he possibly can, that'll be to his advantage at the end of the Grand Prix. So far, they're somewhat holding on, and I think he's potentially banking on some drivers running out of available tyres at the end of this Grand Prix. If he can go long, maybe do a soft medium in the pit stop strategy, then that might pay to his advantage.
Certainly might, as Infratic is now back ahead of Krajicek, and these two are going to be doing some DRS swapping. It's going to do them no help in terms of catching Alex Gillen, but I think maybe they've thought, no, we're not going to catch Gillen, let's just call it a day and battle for P2.
Yeah, maybe they are planning for even as late safety car, because you never know it can come here in Mexico, especially with how high speed a considerable number of these twists and turns are. Elsewhere on the field, Jaro van Geffen getting up past Dragonflies up to P7 for the McLaren. He'll soon be on the rear of his teammate Timo Mardik up in P5 as he begins to chase down Lolly Noba.
Yeah, certainly does. And Lolly Noba chasing down Timo Mardik. And you can see Ben is struggling, physically struggling there on circuit. I mean, he's running out of the RS as well. He can't even take that flat anymore. Barely takes it any stroll, let alone flat.
I wonder how long it will be until Lolly Noba is able to catch up with that McLaren, because the mediums have really come into a world of their own here this afternoon as we're on lap 19, or approaching lap 19 of 71. Gillen has crossed the line, and Dragonflies, who is yet to pit, is actually really falling here. He's on 17 lap-old mediums, and into the pit lane does come Timo Mardik.
Timo Mardik in, rather than Shy picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think he's already got one, so that's a second 3-second lap penalty. As Krajicek once again in front of Infratic. As Meraki goes fastest with a 16.9 there. And it's another set of softs that go on for Timo Mardik.
So maybe it is going to be the soft medium. He can take the softs now to probably around lap 40. He's done 19, 20 laps on them. And then it will be an easy 30 lap stint on the medium tyre at the end of this Grand Prix. So this could be a smart move from Team Modic, extending the life of the softs, because then he doesn't have to worry about the double stint on the mediums.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, TK. You know what? You're pretty good at this whole commentary malarkey.
Oh, we get them right every now and then. I think we get them wrong more times than we get them right, but we will see how it develops through. But just a moment of appreciation here for Cryzix. They started in P19 and they're up in P2.
Up in P2, and, you know, a comfortable P2 as well, I must say. It's not like they're just there because of people not pitting or whatever. It's a comfortable P2 right now.
And with damage as well. Front right end plate missing on that Aston Martin. So incredibly quick. Think about what they could do if they get that front wing replaced when they dive into the pits.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was blowing my nose. As Infratic is now ahead of Cryx once again, as Yorit has just been overtaken by Tom. Expected, because obviously they're on very different tyre strategies at this point. And Safso ahead of Lloyd Nobert as well. So every time Safso makes a move, Tom makes a move, or vice versa.
Yeah, Tom, of course, doing only 10 laps at the moment on the medium tyres. Pitted off the softs after only 9 laps, and Joran van Geffen here running 19 laps so far on the set of the medium tyre. So really differing tyre strategies at the moment amongst the field. No one quite knowing how long those softs were able to hold on. But of course, with the hard tyres being banned, it throws an air of confusion in the air.
Yeah, it certainly does. And what, Ben did about 19 laps on soft tyres?
Waiting for 18 laps on soft tyres for Tim and Maddock.
Okay.
Compared, though, to the 16 laps that Ari Guri did. So not far apart between the two of them.
No, not really. And I mean, what, El Rey came out 4 seconds ahead of Tim Maddock?
Yeah,
So,
roughly about that.
It's kind of the undercut you'd expect around Mexico anyway.
Yeah, so, about 2 seconds a lap, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect, especially if those tyres were as worn as they were, then I was kind of expecting that. Would you mind just covering through it?
No trouble. Well, Safso, of course, up the highest runner that pitted earlier. Only 8 laps on the set of softs from himself. Tom now joins him, doing 9 laps. So Safso's been on those hot medium tyres for a full 12 laps at this moment in time. So the V-Carb and the Alpine, both at the moment with the earliest runs. Tim and Modic, understandably, setting the fastest lap with a set of the fresh new soft tyres. But the battle that I think we're really going to focus on here is the battle for the podium, or at least second place on that podium, as Cryzix and Infratic having a good old scrap through the second sector, running the double right-hander for the Scuderia Ferrari, trying to chase down the Aston Martin that stands in front of him. Dragonfly's picking up a 3-second penalty to his name. A considerable amount of drivers have penalties. Razin Chai actually having 6 to his name now before we reach towards the end of the Grand Prix. It is indeed Mr. Dale also with 6 seconds to their name. Everybody else having the common 3. And I wonder how long it's going to be until Mike Denaldi tries to catch up. Sasso down the inside, as is Tom, as the tyres for the Kick Sauber really starting to fall off.
20 laps on those tyres. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't fallen off earlier, to be honest with you. But of course, when you're running a 100% race, it is a slightly different tyre degradation that you would run on, say, a 50% race. I was just saying, TK, by the stadium section, it seems to be a section of cloud coming towards us.
Yeah, it seems to be clouding over here in Mexico, but according to my data, there's no rain expected at all in this Grand Prix, at least not within the next hour. So I think drivers are safe for the majority of it. Tom there getting past Safso, so now is the leading runner that has pit onto fresh tyres.
Yeah, and of course, that means, I believe, well, actually, what is the gap to the leader right now? Have a quick look. So the gap to Alex Gillen is 15 seconds. So Tom would technically take the race lead. Because obviously it's longer than it's quite a long pit lane here in Mexico, isn't it?
It's one of the longer ones in terms of F1. I mean, Imola's probably still one of the longest on the circuit, but as you rightfully said, Tom would probably jump Alex Gillen when those pit stops start to take effect. But the tyre difference between the two of them is only about 9 laps, so it isn't a great advantage. The drivers haven't gone that long on the set of softs.
Dragonflies is battling with Jorit van Geffen now in the final sector. Jorit just defending him through the stadium section now. Jorit's still running a good race up in P9. considering he is yet to pit. We've got a yellow flag in the second sector there. I believe that was that for Mr. Dale? I think it was for Mr. Dale.
Yeah, it was indeed.
Yet to retire in this race.
Well, yep, so far we haven't seen that 35th DNF being added to his stat sheet, maybe just losing the car ever so slightly through the S section. Meraki pipping out Lolly Noba down in towards turn number 1. Another one of our drivers that has pitted. 12 laps they did on the soft tyres. It's now 10 laps on the mediums. And if they can pip out Mike Donaldi, they'll be the third runner of the drivers who have already pitted.
Yeah, they certainly will want that record as Hayden Gillis gets a 3-second time penalty added to their record as well, as Yorit also loses out onto the points playing positions and now down into 11th place. He's got F1 Scott breathing down his neck there in the Aston Martin. On for the Commentators Union, Scott running just below the points there in 12th place.
Yeah, he is indeed. F1 Scott, of course, one of the other drivers that has already pitted. Fresh tyres. Yorit still rocking them out on the original set of mediums that he did start on. Remains one of 7 drivers that are continuing to do so. You've got your front 3. You've got Mike Donaldi, and then you've got Jorit van Geffen, Dragonflies, and the Haskar of Lolly Noba, all running the original tyres. Dark Viper adds 3 seconds to their time as Jorit van Geffen and Scott going wheel to wheel out to the final few corners.
Certainly do, and that was not the place you normally see an overtake, but Scott's made it work, probably because of the lack of tyre grip that Jorit van Geffen has. Little bit of rubbing is racing, but I think they've all made it through okay. And Scott, because he was behind going into the DRS protection zone, has picked himself DRS up, and Yorit, unfortunately, is left in the cold.
He certainly is indeed, although I have a feeling it's rather warm here in Mexico at the moment. 24 degrees air temperature, 34 degrees on our track temperature. Meraki getting past Mike Donaldi there, so fresh tyres really starting to win out for a lot of our drivers. How long are these medium runners going to take these tyres? Because that gap between Gillen and Infratic still at about 11.2 seconds. So they continue to make waves in this Grand Prix.
I'm curious how well the medium tyres are doing, to be honest with you. I mean, what's the plan here? Medium to soft and to soft again? Or are we going to go medium? I don't know. We're on lap 24 of 71. We're not even at half race distance yet, TK.
We aren't indeed. I'm sure there'll be strategists in everybody's chat advising them of what the best strategy would be to do. I'm sure we've all seen Team at Marduk, of course, setting the fastest lap at the moment, going for the double soft, and I'm sure onto the mediums to finish out this Grand Prix. But if you want to do so and you want to start on the mediums and do that double soft to end, you've got to take these tyres till about lap 30-35.
Oh, that's a big old snap there for Jorit van Geffen. Yeah, that's a long distance to take those tyres. I mean, this is all about the mental strength of how you can deal with the tyre wear going on right now, because, you know, not even half race distance, a long old 71 laps. I believe it's the second most laps on the calendar, just below Monaco, if I'm not mistaken.
Memory says, yeah, probably roughly about that. I mean, Canada is 70 laps. We saw that 2 weeks ago. Now we're at an even longer lapped circuit. There's changes further back. F1 Scott getting pipped out by Ariguri. Razin Chai managing to get past Jorit van Geffen as well. So I think this is where the changeover period is certainly happening for the drivers that pitted that much earlier.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we're on lap 25 of 71, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, if you're just joining us for the Creator Series race, Alex Gillen leads by 11 seconds after he got ahead at the start of the Grand Prix. Your next runner that has pitted is Sasso in 4th place. He's about 1.9 seconds off of Infratic, but he is closing the gap down. And obviously, Kriex and Infratic have been battling for 2nd place for quite some time. The only retirement for this race is Bushy out.
Yep, that actually happened on lap 10 as well. It was so long ago that we've almost forgotten about it. He pitted onto a fresh set of mediums. I think he actually might have been around lap 8, lap 9 as Tom gets past Safsa there with the DRS assistance. People in chat are asking how is Infratic so high. So far, it's been an almighty race for Infratic. He's left everybody else in the dust. He kind of just run his own race.
Yeah, I mean, he's been solidly fast. I believe, let's not forget, I think he has front wing damage.
He does.
He's done a great job. I mean, the Ferrari, it's great. People, you know what? Infratic is fast. I've raced against him in real life. He's fast there as well. You know, he's not a slow man.
He's not indeed, and at the moment he is still putting pressure on Kryzik as they head through this Grand Prix. 26 of 71 through the S section once again, and you can see at the track map at the bottom of your screens just how far ahead Alex Gillen is. compared to any one of our drivers. He's already through the stadium section before Kryzix even approaches that first corner in towards it. An almighty race lead at the moment, and unless we don't see a safety car, this could be a great victory for the Kick-Saubers.
I mean, he's in the next race already, isn't he? He's in a different postcode compared to the rest of the grid right now. I mean, it's mental how good he is driving right now. Lap 27 of 71, as Infratic is about to make his overtake once again on Kryx.
Yeah, so he is. Safso up past Tom Infratic there, up to P2, past Kryzix, into P2. Second step of the podium for himself, and I wonder the question that will be going through his mind at the moment. Is he going to remove that wing damage when he services his first pit stop? Of course, the front three all taking their mediums, 26 laps into this Grand Prix. They're joined by Mike Donaldi down in P8. Jorik van Geffen still running is an original set of boots, as is Dragonflies. Everybody else has pit at least once, and the only driver to go soft so far is Timo Marduk, who finds himself, well, originally down in P15, now P14, as he pips out Jorik van Geffen into turn 4.
You don't think they're going to try the legendary medium to soft strategy, do you?
I think that'd be stretching the tyres very well, far too far.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but crazy is what these guys do best.
That is very true. We'll keep an eye on the tyre strategies as we continue through this Grand Prix. Everybody is rather separated. Who knows? Maybe a good safety car could pull them all back together as El Guri pips out Mike Donaldi there. That is surely fresh rubber versus old rubber, and an easy move in the end for the Red Bull Racing car.
I mean, does Bert Meylander want to come out? That's the question. He only comes out for special incidents.
He does indeed. Apologies, folks at home, if you just heard me hit my microphone as I was readjusting it.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, that's always good. Fine. Always cancellation at its finest, ladies and gents. F1 Scott and Lolly Noba getting past one another. Razin Chai out past Dragonflies in the background of your shot. We've got a good quartet battle going on here for the last of the points-paying positions.
Yeah, we certainly do. All of these guys, actually 10th to 13th, all have type penalty, so it's actually still quite an even battle on track.
Yeah, if you aren't aware of what the point system is at the moment, it is on your screens. We'll run it down at the bottom for yourselves. Of course, P10. It's all the way down to P15, if memory serves me correctly. So actually, my knowledge completely out the window there. I was talking about traditional F1 points. And yeah, P15 all the way down to 1 point.
Which could be what it is in real life, surely, as well. So there is talks about doing that.
It would be interesting to see how it goes and how much it would have changed the championship over the years.
That would be a very interesting thing. Yeah, I would be genuinely interested to look that up. Maybe I'll do that one day.
Maybe we will, but the current position of this race as it stands, Alex Gillen still leads from Kryzix, 10 seconds, still that advantage. But look how close everybody else has pulled in together. I think actually Infratic could lose. They're going to go 3 wide. Tom to the inside line. Gets past Sufso. Is he going to get past Infratic as well? In towards the braking zone. The Alpine moves up to P2.
You could see how much Infratic was struggling under brakes there, under the load of trying to brake on those really old medium tyres. They're only 8 laps older than Safso's, but you clearly can see that they've been on since the start of the race. I wonder how much that front wing damage is starting to affect us. Down the inside goes Safso. Will Safso hold it around the outside? Infratic will push him a little wide, but it keeps it nice and clean. Down the double right-hander. Will Safso hold it out? They still go wheel to wheel. We've got Meraki in behind as well. Meraki looking for a move too, but he won't make one of the S's. And he sticks behind Infratic for another lap. But Infratic's starting to be under pressure now.
Yep, he is indeed. That front wing damage really starting to haunt him as Tom makes his way through. Now we'll try and challenge Kryzix in towards the stadium section. We'll keep an eye on the Alpine as they progress through. Meraki finally pipping out Infratic. Of course, last time's race winner when we came here 4 whole seasons ago. And we'll be looking to replicate that race result almost certainly. But the Alpine rounds the final corner now. We'll get the DRS down in towards turn number 1. And we'll be released to try and chase down Gillen.
Down Gillen, and he will chase down him if he can. There's got a long gap to make up. But Tom is now up into what is second place. Kryzix still sitting in third. Trying to just keep behind in the slipstream effect of that Alpine. As Infratic is going to lose another position here. Is he? He just defends that position from the Mercedes there in 7th place.
Yep, so far, so good for themselves. Just Meraki was going to go for a move down the inside here. Sasso into turn number 4. He gets a move done. This could be a double manoeuvre as he looks immediately for the Aston Martin. Yellow flags further back. That's Razin Chai that's gone round. Is there going to be damage? Are we going to see a safety car? I don't think so. We're just progressing.
Just getting back on the way again as still Team at Marduk chases down his pack. But 11 laps on those softs, TK. I wonder how much he's already struggling on them.
Yeah, that'll be the question, of course. He only did 18 laps last time out, so we're expecting him into the pits before we hit lap 40, and then I'm guessing he's going to try and do about 30 laps on a set of mediums, very similar to what our top runners are doing at the moment. Of course, Gillen on 30-lap old mediums, so it is certainly possible to do a soft medium, but the question's going to be, how tired are those tyres?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how that is. It's finally Infratic pulls into the pit, so he's going to go for, I'm going to guess, another set of mediums, or are we going to go softs?
I'm assuming he's from... Is this softs?
Softs and a new front wing.
Understandable for himself, so it will be a soft strategy, unless he's going to go soft medium until the ends and just have a blast on the softs here, but I don't think that would have been the smartest play because you never know when a safety car could come out. Kryzik's being passed by Meraki in towards turn number 4, so the fresh tyres really starting to help out a considerable number of drivers. Front wing damage as well, hampering that Aston Martin. Sasso will put him under pressure through the S's, and this now does release Tom and Meraki if they want to work together.
Yeah, they certainly will. And I mean, they're going to try and chase down Gillen. 9.9 seconds. It's a big old gap to catch up. But of course, Gillen's not made his pit stop yet.
He hasn't indeed, and the time has stayed pretty consistent over the last few laps. Gillen will lose positions, that is worth saying, over when he does eventually dive in towards that pit lane. I wouldn't be surprised if it is in the next couple of laps. But he will lose out to Tom Meraki, probably all the way down to probably around P7, around Ere Guri and F1 Scott, but he will recoup that on the softer tyres till the end of this Grand Prix. So it's all eyes on the tyres at the moment and seeing how long they last. Meraki putting Tom under pressure here towards turn number 1. DRS overtake. Nice and simple move for the Williams man.
Prix's back in front of Tom as well.
He certainly is. Got past nice and easy.
Driven such a great race today, hasn't he? Prix from 19th, sitting in 3rd, still on 31 lap old medium tyres. Probably the second best drive next to Gillen's.
Yep, I think I'd have to agree with you, but look at the chunk that Meraki, Tom and Kryzik are all taking out of Gillen. Now they've made up half a second in the first few corners alone. I wonder if that could have been a mistake by Gillen, or if those tyres are truly going off a cliff now.
Yeah, I think they probably are going off the cliff. I mean, he dropped, what, half a second in the S section? I mean, he's definitely losing time. Surely he's got to be thinking about a pit stop soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sauber team do call him into the pits at the end of this lap. He's lost over a second now to the convoy that stand behind him. Dale adds 3 seconds to his list of penalties. That makes it 12 now overall for the Red Bull, and he is carrying on.
Maybe it might have just been a mistake then.
We'll keep an eye on it. I think through the S section he was losing so much time. That's Kryzik's into the pit lane, fairly understandably there, to get a new front wing. I'm going to almost assert myself of that.
Yep, going to get a new front wing and new tyres on. Front wing is going on. What is tyre popping range for these medium tyres?
That's a good question, and I don't have that to hand at the moment. But I'm sure if anyone's in chat and does know what rough percentages drivers are on, more notably, what tyre percentages Gillen is on after 32 laps on a set of the mediums, I'd be very intrigued to hear it. Jorrit van Geffen up to P11 after an earlier pit. So actually, Jorrit hasn't pit yet, and neither has Dragonflies.
Jorrit still yet to pit. I think Jorrit, Dragonflies, and Gillen are the only 3 that haven't pitted yet.
Are some drivers banking on a late, or at least a mid-level safety car here?
Going through the S section again, losing a little bit more time. I mean, he's not losing it hand over fist yet. He has drained a lot of his battery. I think this is an in-lap, TK.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Dale's into the pit lane already, so it's already a 2-stop strategy for the Red Bull that finds himself down in P19. He's putting on softs for the first time. Yep. So maybe a 3-stop strategy, I think, for the Red Bull?
Possibly. Gillen's in, though. Gillen is in the pits for what is his first pit stop of the afternoon. He's been leading this race, well, dominantly, and he's going to make his pit stop. Soft tyres are going on, so he has made technically his mandatory stop.
He has indeed. Let's see where he comes out. It's going to be behind Ariguri. Meraki takes the race lead away from Tom. Neguera gets past Safto as well. Gillen out of the pit lane now. I don't think he's going to be under pressure from F1 Scott, who's yet to pit. But we'll keep an eye. Sorry, Scott has already pit. He pit very early. 8 laps into the soft tyre stint, but has done 25 laps on this set of mediums.
Yeah, he pitted a little bit earlier than everyone else, as Prix has also made another move on Jorrit van Geffen. But Jorrit is now one of the only 2 drivers yet to still pit in this race, apart from Dragonflies, who is sitting up in 10th place.
Yep, yellow flags. Is that Dale? It is Dale. Going very slowly indeed. Trying to get some heat into the tyres, I think.
Yeah, just trying to warm up at it.
Are we going to see a fastest lap attempt here for Mr. Dale?
Well, that's what they're asking for in chat.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that as he goes. We'll keep an eye on his sector times. If Mr. Dale can pull a fastest lap out of the bag whilst everybody's racing, it could be crucial points away from some of the other drivers. Of course, it's the Ferrari of Infratic that holds it at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, he'll want to take that away from Infratic, but turning our attention to the lead of the race, top 4, all within a second of each other. Then we've got El Rey, who's chasing this pack down in 5th, and then, of course, Alex Gillen in 6th place on those brand new set of soft tyres, about 3.7 seconds off El Rey Guru, and as he's chasing down that top 4. Now, lap 35 of 71, we're almost at half race distance.
Yep, we will be halfway through this Grand Prix, halfway through lap 36, if you want to have any fun numbers at home. So, interesting enough that Mike Donaldi has yet to pit, alongside, of course, Dragonflies and Jorrit van Geffen.
Yeah, I wonder, are they banking on a safety? I haven't seen, Bert Meilander's gone for a coffee right now. I don't think he's not even sitting in the safety car right now. So I don't know where he is, but yeah, Infratic closing in now on Crike. So he's actually caught back up to the man he was battling for a lot of that race.
Yeah, he certainly is. Keeping an eye on Dale as he comes around the final couple of corners. Is this going to be a fastest lap attempt for the Red Bull? Or was there a reason that he was slamming on the brakes to get heat in towards the tyres? It's not the fastest lap for himself. It was an 18.0, I think, if memory serves me correctly there. Oh, no, his last lap was a 120.2. So really not the fastest lap for Mr. Dale.
Yeah, not at all. As Infratic, he's just got past around the outside of Dragonflies into that sector. Dragonflies were going very slowly because he wanted to keep up with Tri-X, but unfortunately his tyres proved not to be a problem. Our Mike's just coming to pits. Oh, Infratic slowed down in the final corner.
Interesting to... Yeah, he certainly has.
I think he got a legal overtake on Dragonflies and had to let him pass.
Oh.
Because he overtook him over the curb and it was slightly off track. And the game's given him a overtaken off-track warning.
Well, that certainly happened before and after. Interesting to note that Alex Gillen and then Kryzix both set purple Sector 3s in their last lap. Still, both of them, well, considerably close to the fastest lap from Infratic. I can tell you just how close. It was about half a hundredth of a second between the 2 lap times.
Well, Gillen's about to get DRS off El Rey, so I imagine that's going to be very much crushed in the next couple of corners.
We'll keep an eye on this as it progresses in towards the stadium section. Meraki, of course, heading through the twists and turns in towards the final corner to start lap 37. We have got yellow flags. We've got a safety car! Who's binned it? Mr. Dale in the pit lane. Was that in the pit lane?
The pit wall, yeah.
No, pit wall. There we go. You just see him as we go past.
Tom was the only one that reacted at the top 4.
Great opportunity there for the Alpine driver. They know they can take these tyres at least half race distance. So Tom getting the correct call there. I think drivers they beat Bert Meilander out. That's the important thing.
Gillen's in for a set of mediums, so he's going to the end.
All tyres up on your screens at the moment. This is the area where drivers could make mistakes and accidentally go onto a set of hards.
Yeah, you got to be careful there. So as they've beaten Bert Meilander out the pits, they will still get a pretty good free pit stop.
They will. They'll still have the delta that everybody else has to stand to, but it'll be nowhere near as slow as the safety car goes.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they're part of first Meilander right now. So in terms of drivers that have made their pit stop stick now, I mean, Jorrit's just gone on to an... Didn't he start on mediums? So Jorrit's gone mediums.
Did. Yeah, Jorrit's gone medium, so we'll have to do at least one more pit stop before the end of this Grand Prix.
I wonder if that's a mistake.
I think it might be, unless he's feeling that you can't take softs until the end here.
Well, he could have gone soft and then pitted for mediums.
I guess if you're going to have to pit anyway, you might as well have, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to pit, put your softs on and then come back into pits and put your mediums on.
Guess we'll wait and see what Jorrit van Geffen does. I'm sure he...
Top three coming in.
Yep, Maraki's in.
Maraki's in. Sapso's in.
Let's see where they come out and whether Tom can actually jump them in this pit stop.
It's going to be close. He'll be gunning it between safety car lines. Of course, he can start moving when he hits the pit lane start. Meraki is coming out of the exit. It's going to be incredibly tight. Here comes Tom. He might get one or two. He might get a few. He's going to get both. He's going to get the Mercedes and the RB, and he stays by Meraki. So it has worked out in Tom's favour.
It has indeed, but that one extra lap, essentially a push lap for the Alpine there, really is going to hamper his tyres later in the Grand Prix, because these guys can just relax, chill their tyres out, not necessarily put too much stress through them. But everybody onto the mediums here, apart from T. George, Cryzix and Dragonflies. Cryzix back into the pits again, so I'm going to indicate that might have been a mistake from the Aston Martin.
Surely to put on some mediums now. Yeah, I think so. Because he'd already made his pit stop. So he'd already changed the tyres. But yeah, interesting there. So what has this safety car changed, and what has it given us in terms of an interesting fight? Gillen, of course, was on the soft tyres, chasing down the pack. He's now in 6th place on mediums. El Rey stayed in 5th. Ben has kind of made his strategy work. He's now on medium tyres in 9th place, so he can challenge now in terms of the top in the top places. In Fratic, it's really not worked out for Fratic.
No, not the way he would have wanted this race to go down in P11 for himself. Interestingly enough, obviously we're aware that Jorrit has to pit at least once more. Someone who's gone rather under the radar, Lolly Noba, actually went medium, but didn't pit under the safety car.
Odd, isn't it?
So I wonder if Lolly Noba's sticking to their original pit strategy here and will be going soft to the end. They did 30 laps on the set of mediums in their opening stint. If they do another 30, and then, what, I'm assuming 11 or 12 laps on softs at the end, that's probably where they're going with this.
Yeah, I mean, that is likely to be the case. I mean, it's very interesting indeed. This safety car has changed around this race. As Dragonfly's in the pit, Dragonfly's into the pits again.
Let's see. I'm assuming this is going to be the strategy of, yep, he's going to put a fresh set of mediums on, because he started on mediums, did 2 laps on these softs, and then has gone for a fresh set of mediums to the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, that is the interesting thing now, but I expected... I don't know why Jorrit's gone medium. That's the odd one. And Lolly Noba as well.
See, Lolly, I think, is staying with their original pit strategy. Of course, they didn't pit under safety car. They won't have to go again, but maybe throwing in there a lap on the softs and coming back in again wouldn't have hurt them. But who knows? We're not strategists. We're just here to talk them through what exactly is happening in the course of the Grand Prix as we start, well, almost start lap 40 of 71. That means we've got 32 laps to go.
32 laps to go. We'll probably restart lap 40.
Depends how close everybody catches up. But Hayden Gull is still at the back of the pack, which is interesting to know.
He can only be out for a mandatory 3 laps.
Interesting to know.
Did you not know that?
I didn't.
No, it has to come in at the end of the 3rd lap.
Well, we've already done, what, 1, 2? This will be the 2nd lap.
Yes.
So in theory, you can do 1 more. It might be a late call here if Hayden Gullis and T. George and Cryzix are all able to catch up as we head through the stadium section. I have a feeling this could be an incredibly late call from Bert Mylander and from race control. And it is, as we head in towards the stadium section. Bert Mylander peels off. Meraki slows us down. And we are ready to go racing once again. Everybody has caught back up again. Williams will lead us away from Alpine, from Mercedes. Bert Mylander back safely in the comfort of his pit lane. And when does Meraki put his foot to the floor? He's weaving, getting some tyres going. There we go. We go racing once again on lap 40 of 71. And the weaving begins.
Yeah, the weaving certainly does begin. Ignore what it says in the top left. We are back under racing conditions here as Meraki's got a good launch because there's no DRS until the end of the 1st lap. But down the inside, we'll get the Mercedes on top. Can he make the move stick? He's not alongside him. He can't put his nose in completely as Timo Marduk, sorry, is past Infratic, as Joran van Geffen is also chasing down Infratic now.
Yep, he is indeed. Both McLarens there getting involved with both Ferraris. It's McLaren, Ferrari, Safso getting past Aguera for a brief moment of time. He has the inside line through 4, 5 and 6. Can the V-Cub hold on for the time being? Aguera's trying to swoop it around the outside with the extra straight line speed. I think he might be afforded it. They're still wheel to wheel as the Ferrari Infratic goes off in the background. Safso, almighty kick, and that's damage to Eriguri. Eriguri getting contact with Aguera as well. Both of them will come together multiple times.
They're all over the road here, and it's all gone wrong from that little bit of mistakes. I think Safso tried to dart it around the outside, and Naguri wasn't expecting it. Broke late on the corner, and it's all gone wrong in the matter of corners for so many drivers there.
It has indeed. Lolly Nobers ended up with wing damage to topple that all off. The Haskar will be really struggling on older tyres and wing damage to boot as well. DRS gets enabled as we round the corner. Timo Marduk on the inside line of the Haskar. He will get that rear wing open. Yellow flag further back. Dark Viper GT facing the wrong way. And we have got a VSC.
Virtual safety car. Bert Mylander not called out just yet, but chaos ensued there on the restart in that F section. One little dive, and it all went to hell for everyone.
Well, let's have a little damage check on the cars. Niguera fairly understandably has wing damage there. Gillen seems to have got off scot-free, as has Safso. The Aston Martin of F1, Scott and Tim Marduk, both of them looking rather scot-free as well. But Lolly Noba, down in P8 now, has got wing damage.
And what that's also caused as well, TK, is a gap between the top two. 3 seconds almost the gap here, even under the virtual safety car. They've all got to be careful. They've all got a delta to play with. They do not want to go over that delta because it is, I believe, a 10-second time penalty if you break your delta.
It's a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car if you actually exceed it.
Exceed it? Well, it's even worse then. The worst penalty you can be given.
Dark Viper's in a wall. As the VSC gets removed, we go racing. Dark Viper's in a wall at turn 1.
He is. He's got no front wing. As we now race through the final sector here, as Ben has made his way past F1 Scott, as Gillen is just defending here from the Mercedes, almost caught out here. So Ben almost right behind Alex Gillen, and as we've mentioned many times before, we know this one is Dark Viper retired on circuit, but it's not going to cause a safety car. He's retired fair enough away from the track as we're racing down the back straight now, as Gillen closing in on Safso, who's got no DRS advantage here, TK.
He doesn't, but they're going to go 3 wide in towards the first corner. It's the Guri that comes out on top. Lolly Nova, Scott and Infratic having a good battle as well. Scuderia round the outside of F1 Scott. Can he hold it? He can, with DRS becoming enabled almost immediately after that VSC. Of course, no 1 lap wait this time around, and Infratic once again trying to rise through the ranks. But as you said, Gillen defending, but he has Safso in front of him.
He certainly does. Safso 2.7 seconds away from the top 2, and Gillen, a race that was so much in the palm of his hand, is slipping slowly out here on lap 42.
It is indeed. If this was a Lego set, it was being dismantled piece by piece. That podium that he had built all by himself had been ruined by the man that has come along with the Bert Mylander safety car. And Tomo Meraki now with 3 seconds of clearance back to Safso, who Alex Gillen will have to try and get past if he wants to try and challenge not only for a podium, but for the race win once again.
Exactly, and Meraki is battling with Tom up front. Meraki, of course, we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, and we've mentioned it a couple of times this afternoon, as Gillen is going to make the move on Safso. Meraki, the last winner here at Mexico, last time the Greatest Series arrived at this fantastic circuit here at the Mexican GP.
Yep, he certainly was indeed. He wasn't holding his hopes high this afternoon when I had a brief chat with him before we went racing, but at the moment it is all things Meraki as we continue through this Grand Prix. 43 of 71. Gillen now up into the podium positions, dispatching Safso further back. There's a battle between the two Haas cars. Razin Chai trying to get involved as well as he's trying to swoop around the outside of turn 5. He's done so successfully as the other Aston Martin of Kryzix, who looked so quick in this opening stint, is being held up here. Eric Guri gets 3 seconds added to his name as Timo Marduk pushed him slightly off the track.
Yes, I wonder if that will go to the stewards. I think Elray might say he was pushed off a bit there, but Timo Marduk just defending what he said was his position. So We'll see how that one goes down, but of course it's not us. It's not for us to judge here, TK.
It's not at all. A letter may be sent to the stewards, but they will be receiving into an empty office. Of course, no stewarding here in the F1 Craig series, so that letter will be rightfully ignored as Meraki sets the fastest lap at the moment on a set of mediums. Tom, though, going past down into turn number 1.
And Alex Gillen not closing the gap here, and Savso going to go back past him. And again, I think, you know what this is? This is the lack of DRS is costing these drivers, TK.
It certainly is. They're not able to break free, try and chase down the drivers in front of them, because every time they want to go for it, they're held back in the pit of despair. Jorik van Geffen there caught out, cutting the first few corners.
And he's calling down to 16th place. It's not been the best of afternoons for Mr. Jorik van Geffen. As Mike and Hayden dropping down the grid as well. They're battling wheel to wheel. But we're keeping an eye on the front too. And it is still Tom who leads from Meraki. Savso 3 seconds back here with Gillen in 4th. And Ben's still trying to chase down the pack. But as Ben's struggling a little bit, he doesn't seem to be flying through these corners.
Yep, really starting to struggle, I think, for himself. Maybe just trying to conserve some tyre life as well. He's done both 2 stints on the softer tyres, so maybe Timo Mardik is just looking to extend the mediums. They will be looking about 50% wear over 35 laps. So actually, all things considered, not too dramatically wrong.
Yeah, trying to just ease them in before going on. Going on lap 45 of 71. Still quite a way to go in this Grand Prix. Once again, the lead changes as Alex Gillen will get past Savso as well. But it doesn't really mean a lot at the moment because they can't chase these front 2.
They can't indeed. Both Aston Martins making good positions as well. Kreising's up past Razin Chai. Mike Donaldi, of course, not pitting earlier. Up past Hayden Gullis. Yorit trying to get past as well as he's snapped through. Oh, there's contact, though, between Yorit and, I believe, T. George. Mike Donaldi and Hayden Gullis getting caught up. And that's going to allow Lottie Noba to have some free air.
Yeah, and it will be great news for them. But, yeah, Yorit's still closing in. A little bit of contact there involved in turn 1. As we now race through the sector. Good battles towards the back of the grid is Elray's. Oh, Elray's off! Elray's on the grass!
And Elray's retired!
He's retired from the Grand Prix. He's out of the race. It's not going to cause a safety car, but it's all gone wrong for Elray. And what has happened there? He was battling with Impratic and Timo Marduk, and clearly something's gone wrong, and it's cost him big. Oh, Yorik's in the back of Lolly Noba, and it's all going wrong here as Mike now tries to get around the outside and trying to make a move into the stadium section. Oh, another front wing flies off. It's all going quite Pete Tong, as they say. As Gillen sets the fastest lap of the race.
He does indeed, and that not only is the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, that is a letter of intention to the front 2. I am coming for you, says Alex Gillen, as we have a virtual safety car.
And there's Mex in the pit lane as well as they cut across the pit line. And there's a safety car coming out. I can see Bert Mylander in the pit lane. Yep,
full safety car here this afternoon then. So for the second time, Bert Mylander has been called into action as we fully reset the grid. Hayden Gullis got himself a 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Lolly Noba.
This is an interesting one. On my screen, they're not in the pit lane, but they're in the pit lane.
We don't question it.
No.
I'm trying to guess what penalty Hayden Gullis has, because on my thing it just says 3 SG. So I'm not 100% sure what that's trying to suggest to me.
No, I don't know either. It's odd.
Let's see if what it will show. 13 seconds according to this. I don't know what SG means. Maybe final warning or something like that.
Oh, I mean, it could be. Could be. Final warning? Or is it 10? He got a 10-second though, didn't he?
Potentially, who knows? We'll figure it out. Seb, the mail train for the stewards departs from platform at 9 3/4. Well, it's the only important thing that departs from 3/4. Oh, 3 equals stop go. I.e. 10-second penalty. Right, okay.
Ah.
So it should be 30 seconds. No, I don't know. Seb's lying to me. Seb's lying to me.
They're all staying on their tyres. They don't want to make a new pit stop.
I wonder if on their screens it also says VSC, so they're maybe not 100% sure to it. Who knows?
Maybe. Well, of course, it does say virtual safety car, but it is a full safety car. We can confirm that, ladies and gentlemen. There is Bert Mylander, and Tom has caught the back of the safety car now. Maybe he's just realised it's a full safety car.
Oh, I tell you what, this is a beautiful angle of a pit stop. Just focusing in on the driver's helmet. No intention of showing us the actual safety car, but who knows? Sorry, the actual pit stop.
No, you want to see the driver, not the pit stop.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Can T. George beat out Yorit here? I think he is going to quite comfortably. Yep, nice and done so. So we still have 16 running in this Grand Prix. Yorit overtaking under safety car for about half a second and rightfully giving it back at the end. We are waiting for drivers to try and catch up to that safety car pack. Hayden Gullis still in the pit lane, serving one of his penalties and getting a new front wing by the looks of things. He has served his 10-second penalty, and that's probably a good idea to do so.
Yes, I would imagine so, because obviously with a 10-second time penalty, you're going to lose a lot of time.
I think, in fact, you're going to lose about 10 seconds if my math serves me correctly.
Yes, I've heard that is the case, yes. Did he serve it with the whole 10 seconds?
Well, we couldn't possibly confirm that on the screen at the moment, but pretty much everybody's caught up back to the pack here. Mike Donaldi is on the rear of this train as things stand. T. George, Yorit van Geffen, Lolly Noba and Hayden Gullis just waiting to catch up. We've just got just over 20 laps of racing to come here in this Grand Prix, and I can say it's been nail-biting all the way through.
Yeah, it certainly has. Of course, the two safety cars have calmed our action down, but what this second safety car has managed to do is pull Alex Gillen back into the action. And appears to be some positions changing there in the under safety car bit off.
It did look that way, and I wonder if they have rightfully given the positions back. Maybe some that got changed before the safety car did indeed come out. But it is both Aston Martins reunited, both Ferraris just on the outside of them. Emphatic P7, Razin Chai P10, respectively between the two of them. Tim Amadik in P6, of course his teammate Yorit van Geffen, all the way down in P14. And Lolly Noba's into the pits.
New set of tyres, new set of boots.
It is a new set of boots. It's soft tyres till the end for Lolly Noba.
I mean, the softs will go to the end now. They certainly will. And of course, the safety car will be in this lap no matter what, even if the pack hasn't caught yet.
Yeah, interesting to note. So T. George, Yorit and Lolly Noba all choosing the soft tyre to go to the end of the race here. Everybody else sticking it out on the original set of mediums. And I wonder if Lolly's going to be able to catch the safety car pack before the end.
Well,
and if Lolly does, will Hayden Gullis?
Yorit and Lolly both had to pit, remember? They were both on medium tyres.
That is very true. So it makes sense why they've just pitted when they did. Soft tyres till the end. And I think the strategy may have worked out here for Yorit van Geffen.
Is it going to be it's one more lap on the safety car? Sorry, we're only on lap 2. There should be one more lap behind the safety car.
Yep, I think we will go for at least one more. Ignore what it says, as always, in the top left-hand side of your screens. This is not a virtual safety car. Bert Mylander has been called into action for the second time in this Grand Prix. It's still Tom that leads from Meraki, from Alex Gillen. Safsa, of course, down in P4, making a good jump up from P11, where he qualified. And Kreuzick's up in P9 from 19. It's still been a stellar drive for the Aston Martin man.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, the guy he's stepping in for reserving. I mean, he's driven fantastically to get himself P9, and without a time penalty as well, which is always important in these kind of races.
Yep, he will jump at least one position at the moment. Of course, F1 Scott with 6 seconds to their name in this Grand Prix. We'll run through penalties quickly. Scott's on 6. It is Razin Chai on 6 as well. Dragonfly says 3. T. George has 6. 3 to Yorit van Geffen. 9 to Lolly Noba. And 3 to Hayden Gullis after serving that original 10 second. And this will see the V-carb catch up. You can just see him in the background of your shots, getting some heat into the tyres as he tries to slow down, approaching the pack as much as he possibly can.
Interesting. May wants to preserve his tyres, even though they're 11 laps old.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on how it goes, but surely Tom will do the race restart here this afternoon. We'll get that confirmation as we cross the Sector 2 timing beam. There we go, race control confirming the safety car will be coming in this lap, and Tom will lead us away. And Alex, why don't you take us away?
I'd love to. It's also confirmed we're now under safety car, just so everyone knows. We're no longer under the virtual safety car. So we're about to get started in the stadium section. It will be Tom that leads us away from Meraki, from Gillen. Gillen knows he's been given a second chance at taking this race win after, of course, losing out on that last restart. He's got no cars in front of him apart from the 2 leaders. So we're going to get underway now as Mike picks up a 3-second time penalty under safety car. When is Tom going to go? He goes there just before the final corner as we're back under racing condition as we begin lap 50 of 71. And Gillen's got such a great launch Is he going to go for it in turn 1? Is Meraki going to have any defense? Or is Meraki going to look for Tom here? Or are we going to wait until the DRS opens? No, Gillen says, I'm not waiting any longer. He goes down the inside. Can he break Lace it up? Or is Meraki going to hold the inside line? Oh, he locks up and pushes him wide. And it's cost Gillen time. And it's cost him a place as Safso moves himself up into third.
Yep,
Brilliant
Safso.
defense from Meraki.
Brilliant defense from Meraki. Safso now tries to hold on. He's past Meraki as well. Up to P2. He late breaks ever so slightly. Just swoops around the outside and will hold the inside line. Tim and Mardik back up into P5. He's fighting with Nogueira for that position. And there's a little bit of a kick out there for the Papaya McLaren. He loses out in the end of all things. But Infratic now trying to chase down his old rival of Tim and Mardik for P6. He'll know he wants it.
Certainly does, and Tom must be loving this in the background. I can imagine him cheering in his rig right now. He's a second up the road. He's already broken DRS because these guys were battling so hard. As it looks like, Ben wanted to go down the inside of the Mercedes here into the finals, into the stadium section, but couldn't make it work. Gillen in fourth. He'll be frustrated that that's happened, but Meraki pulled off a masterclass in how to make sure your driver can't stick it up the inside. But here comes Ben. He's going to go for it here into P5, and Ben is up into P5, and now he can chase down his arch rival Alex Gillen. Or can he? Oh no, I thought he was going to go for the switchback, but Infratic was just behind him as well.
Yep, not the one for Nogueira there, trying to squeeze his way past the Australian, but as things stand, Tim and Mardik up in P5. There's still wing damage from Nogueira as well. The front right end plate still missing on that Mercedes car. That could make him vulnerable as we head through the course of this Grand Prix. But as you said, Tim and Mardik now on the rear of Alex Gillen. Gillen trying to chase down Safso, who's pretty much nose to gearbox through this set of turns, through 4, 5 and 6 as we head in towards the S section. The Kick Sauber will be trying to chase down the RB.
And I mean, look at that top 5 as well, TK. Tom, Meraki, Safso, Gillen, Tio Mardik. What a top 5. And I mean, even the top 10 are all so close together. Anyone could still win this one. And we know how much carnage could happen in the last couple of laps of Creator Series racing. We've still got 20 of them to go.
We do indeed. 20 as we cross that timing beam round the final corner through 16 and 17. And it will be Tom that leads Meraki from Safso, but I have a feeling second and third will be under pressure here. Sorry, first and third will be under pressure. Tom will be under pressure from Meraki. Safso under pressure from Alex Gillen. Gillen moves to the inside, as does Meraki. Going to look for it down in towards turn number 1. Are we going to be 3, even 4 wide into turn 1? Gillen from absolutely nowhere swoops around the inside and takes the race lead.
He certainly does want to move through the middle of the pack there, but they've both got DRS and they run down to the next braking zone. Gillen used so much DRS and so much of his grip to make that move stick. Meraki will hold it around the outside, and Gillen will try and force his way back around the outside. He can't make it stick. Ben is also battling with Safso. Tio Marduk is going to make that move. He's going to make it, and he's up into fourth now. He's right behind Tom, but Meraki leads from Gillen, from Tom, from Tio Marduk.
Beautiful move from the Australian there, just pipping out Safso for P4, but Meraki just managing to hold on to this race lead. He wants to replicate what he had out in Season 4, and Gillen's trying to prevent that as much as he can. It's nearly cut in for Meraki to play defensive this time around, and I wonder if Tom's going to try and swoop him around the outside. He's got to go defensive against Tim and Mardik. Infratic loses out to Safso. He tried an optimistic move, but Safso holding on to P5 at the moment.
Just holding on as well. Infratic loses another place as we race down the main straight once again. Surely Gillen's going to have a great run here at Meraki into the first corner, but so is Tio Marduk on Tom. There's nothing Tom can do to defend it, and Gillen is going to take the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. He breaks later into the first corner, and he's up into the lead. Meraki will not have DRS going down the next straight because he was behind into the braking zone. The man who will have DRS though is Ben, and we know what these two are like. It's now a 1-2, and of course the 1-2 it is. It's Gillen and Tio Marduk.
Well, it's a tale as old as time. It's Tia McMardick versus Gillen as we head through lap 53 of 71. Will we see contact between the two of them, or will Gillen try and rightfully regain that advantage he had before we went into the safety car period? The Kick Sauber has looked so strong in the opening stage of this Grand Prix already. 6/10 separate himself from the Papaya McLaren, but DRS comes quickly for the McLaren as they head in towards the stadium section. Will Tia McMardick keep his distance?
He's got to try and keep within that DRS. We do not know what games Mr. Gillen is going to play, but Tiernan Marduk is closing and closing in quickly. The DRS will open for the Papaya McLaren to try and take down the Kick Sauber as we race down the main straight. Maraki's still involved in this as well. Tom's still involved in this. It's still anyone's game here, but I think Gillen is running a lot more straight line speed than Tiernan Marduk is.
Yep, I think that might be the case. There's no effort there from Tiernan Marduk trying to close down that gap as much as he possibly can, of course. Double DRS dose they get as we run down towards turn number 4, so maybe banking on that ever so slightly. Meraki now within the close proximity of the Papaya McLaren in front. Is it going to be a send down the inside from Meraki? He thought about it, but he backs out rightfully so in towards turn 4, 5 and 6. The long, elongated right-handers that we have here. And this battle for the lead looking extra spicy this afternoon.
It certainly is. I mean, the top 6 are all very close together. Even 7th in Razin Shai with that time penalty. They're all involved in this battle at the top of the timesheets. And also, everyone is on the same set of tyres. There may be about a 1 lap difference between them, but they're all on the same set of tyres. They're all got about the same wear. It's down to the skill of the driver now.
Yep, 6 out of the top 7 as well. All former champions here in the Create Series, if we exclude Infratic. Razin Chai, of course, winning a season. So is Nogueira, so is Tom, Meraki, Tiernan Marduk, and Alex Gillen. They're all well vested here within the rules as well. They know the rules of engagement when it comes to racing side by side. And I think if we're on for a spicy 15-lap finish, this is going to be the one.
Certainly will be as Tiernan Marduk does close in once again on Alex Gillen as Infratic makes up another move. He's up into P5. There's a lot of smoke billowing out of the tyres going into the first corner. But Tiernan Marduk is very much closer to Alex Gillen here. Is he going to go for it? He might not think about it because I think he's just biding his time, TK.
Yep, I think he will be doing that indeed. As we said at the start of the broadcast, nobody will want to lead on towards the final lap with just how long these straights have been. And they will be saving it all for lap 71 of 71 when they will burn all of the battery that they have available to them shortly on the run down towards turn number 4. But we keep our eyes peeled at the moment on lap 55 of 71. 15 and a half laps of racing to go here in Mexico City. And it's still Gillen that leads from Tiernan Marduk from Meraki as your podium at the moment.
It's clouded over here, TK. Is there still no threat of rain?
Still no threat of rain, apparently.
Well, it's very cloudy now. There's no more sun here at Mexico City.
I can tell you that the track temperature has dropped by an almighty 4 degrees since we started this Grand Prix, but I don't think that will be affecting our drivers too much.
Here we go. This is the chance for Tiernan Marduk. He's going to go for it. It's the first corner. Gillen easily pulls the left-hand side because there's nothing he could do about it in the DRS zone. And Tiernan Marduk leads the Mexican Grand Prix.
He will get the double dose as well down in towards turn number 4. Of course, 1 detection point for both of this DRS opportunities. Gillen could be left in the mud by Meraki, who might send a move into turn 4. He thought about it, but just waits for his time. But it's now Tiernan Marduk, as you said, that leads this Grand Prix from Gillen, from Meraki. Tom's involved as well. Infratic's looked quick since he's got his front wing replaced. And Nogueira and Kreisix up from P19, who's had an almighty race to be proud of.
And he's on the older set of tyres as well, the oldest set of tyres in this top 10. 22 lap on his tyres, the rest of them on 19 or 18 lap old. And they're all still chasing down lap 56 of 71. We're heading on to lap 57, and we are very close to the closing stage of this Grand Prix. And I hope everyone has enjoyed it as much as we have commentating it, because it's been a cracking race here at Mexico City.
Yeah, don't forget you can join the conversation as well. Hashtag F1 Creator Series on your favourite social media platform. We watch now as Gillen releases the rear wing. He'll get the extra straight line speed. Easy move there on Tiernan Marduk. Of course, the extra straight line speed he's been running all weekend with this setup. Moves back towards the inside line. And it's up to P1 for the Kicksabber. Meraki will have to wait in P3. He's being patient. We've seen this before from Meraki in previous races gone by. He'll wait until the final call of asking and give it everything he's got.
He certainly will. And I mean, I've never seen a driver pull so far to the right-hand side after DRS overtaking. That was ridiculous. I mean, he just didn't want to give him any slipstream at all. He was happy to go into the marbles to cause more scrub to his tyres than have to worry about Tiernan Marduk re-diving him down the inside.
That will be the case. We'll keep an eye as we progress through this. Once we hit a lap 60, that'll be when the countdown is on towards the final 10 laps of this Grand Prix. Gillen from Team Mardik from Meraki. We'll talk about some of the other battles that have happened further around. Safso has had a poor restart, of course, all the way down in P11. Hasn't gone his way this afternoon. Mike Donardi, Hayden Gullis, and of course Yorit are your drivers that are at the rear of the pack. They haven't had the best race as well. Yorit, of course, was looking promising at one point, up in P8, got P8 in the sprint, but at the moment down in P16.
Yeah, it's not gone the way of Mr. Yorit van Geffen this afternoon, as we're still chasing down here, as Timo Mardik still chasing down on Alex Gillen. He knows he can't beat him in straight line speed, and to be honest with you, in the corners he may be quicker in terms of downforce, but he's not been able to challenge Gillen because Gillen has been so good this afternoon in terms of just pace and skill.
He certainly has been indeed. He also has the fastest lap to boot, a 1:15.7 compared to some of the other drivers. He's about a tenth and a half clear compared to the drivers around him, and he set that on the set of mediums when we first went racing once again. So Alex Gillen has looked like a powerhouse all weekend. Meraki will be trying to challenge, get back-to-back wins here in Mexico City. We've seen it done before in the F1 Create Series, and it will be another title or another race win to add to his name. But Timo Mardik, the man from down under, will be trying to flip himself on Alex Gillen, trying to jump up to P1 at the final time of asking.
Yeah, it certainly will. And there's still a lot of laps to do it in. We're about to go towards the counter. I think there's, 12 laps to go when we cross the line.
Yep, there will be 12 laps to go once we hit lap 59 of 71. Gillen leads us across the line. Timo Mardik will get the DRS advantage, but as you said, it's slightly shorter in the previous few years. I think he might need those extra few meters on the run down towards turn number 1. He might be too far back here.
Yeah, he's definitely doing far back. Yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's Mr. Yorit van Geffen, who's had a little bit of a spin over the start-finish line, which does, Yorit has done us a favour, and now we have got our counter back in the top left. He's hit the wall again. Has he spun again? Safety car!
He completely lost the rear end there, trying to fire the tyres up, and as you said, safety car here with 12 laps to go.
Any soft tyres?
Well, who's got soft tyres left? I think they'll be asking that.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Let's pull them up on the screen. And I think also a question to ask, is it going to be to pit or not to pit? In a very style of Shakespeare, that is the question.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Now, we know that Gillen likes to play his games, TK. What's he going to play here?
Well, we'll wait and see if there's any pit lane shenanigans going on.
I mean, if you're in their position, you get a brand new set of boots, surely, right?
I think surely you know how long the straights are here. You can make the advantage up through the twists and the turns, and then, of course, you get the straight down towards the stadium section. But Gillen is coming in, called it very, very late, as is everybody else. And I think let's just flick back. Someone's staying out. Nogueira's staying out.
Nogueira's staying out. Razin's staying out. I like it. The disruptors, as I like to call people that don't pit under a safety car with a couple of laps to go.
Wow, could this be a gamble of the century for Razin, for Nogueira from Dragonflies, who stays out as well? Everybody behind them has pitted. Yorit will most certainly pit. He has no front wing on that Mystaran at the moment, as you see a very long-nosed boy peel into the pit lane. But that was fascinating.
Has no softs left. He's on a set of mediums.
Oh. Is that a mistake from Timo Mardik, though?
I think he's just out of softs.
It's fresh. I mean, he did go double stint on the softs at the start.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, yeah, because he did both of those for 18 laps. So unless he got a fresh set of softs that he saved in qualifying, then he's not going to have any fresh ones.
So basically, just to recap what's happened, we had a safety car due to a Yorit van Geffen crash into the pit wall. We have a new race leader in, how do you say it name? Sorry, I'm bad with names.
Nogueira.
Nogueira up leading the race there in the Mercedes. And we've got Razin Shai in second and Dragonflies in third. Those three have not pitted under this new safety car. Gillen has pitted, and so has Timo Mardik, Meraki, and everyone back down to 16th place. Timo Mardik has put on medium tyres due to his double soft stints, which could have cost him dearly come the end of this Grand Prix. But second and third both have time penalties, let's not forget.
They do indeed. And can we appreciate here as well, a substantial amount of drivers have done a 4-stop strategy. So Kryzik, Lolinova and George all on 4 stops. Hayden Gullis has made 5 pit stops this race. Are we getting any Canada 2011 flashbacks?
Oh, I mean, don't we love the fact that we have no hard tyres? It just gives us so much more variety in strategy. That's what I want to see.
It certainly does, because I think if we'd had hard tyres, it would have been a really boring 1-stop race, mediums to hards, and then everyone would have put safety cars on the end, soft tyres on at the end under the safety car. But this has really mixed the strategy up, because of course Team Marduk had no softs left.
Exactly, that's what we want. That is what we want to see. We want to see interesting strategies, and we've been given it here at the Mexican GP. We're on lap 61 of 71. We will restart, I believe, lap 62 if Yorick can catch the pack in time, which I believe he will. Still no chance of rain, TK?
Still no chance of rain, but as you said, it is very, very cloudy here in Mexico City.
It very much is. Now, how much advantage are these mediums going to give, or how much of a disadvantage are they going to give?
Well, the interesting thing is, we saw people pit off the soft tyres after only 8 or 9 laps. And we're going to have 10, maybe 9 laps of race. Maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe 11 laps of racing. We'll get confirmation, because Yorick has caught up now. So we will go on 62, which will be 10 laps of racing. So if those people... they didn't go flying past there. If those people that only did 8 laps, and they are Safso and they are F1 Scott, can only do 8 laps on that set of soft tyres, the question will be, will the mediums come into their own for the final 2 laps?
Well, that'll be the interesting thing. But the interesting thing now will be the restart, because Gillen knows what he must do. He has to pass 3 drivers that did not pit under that safety car. And let us see how it all plays out as the final restart of this Mexican GP gets underway. And it's a good start from the man who is yet to pit. But Gillen has got a double slipstream effect already, and he may get past all 3. He's got past 1. Can he find the middle? No, he cannot. There is no gap in the middle. He's going to try and go around the outside, but there's no gap around the outside. Razin defending down the middle. Will Gillen send it? He certainly does. And he's made up 3 places in the first corner. And Team Marduk trying to go through as well. But there's a big crash at the back, and it's cost Tom, and there's more yellow flags flying.
Yep, has indeed. Tom getting caught up. I think Razin trying to defend as much as he possibly could from the kick salver of Alex Gillen. It's wheel to wheel between Team Marduk and Aguera here through turns 4, 5 and 6. Yellow flags being thrown rather dutifully, but Team Marduk up to P3. He now has Razin Chai ahead of him, and of course Razin defending so hard from Alex Gillen. Is he going to assist Team Marduk here on the chase down of the kick salver that stands already 1.3 in the lead?
He surely has to try and let him pass, because Razin's got time penalties as well. Dragonflies gets another time penalty, but it's cost Tom big because he's dropping positions. He's got front wing damage. And it seems that Gillen has made that restart work exactly in his favour. And he's now 1.6 seconds up the road. And with no car behind him to challenge, it's surely Gillen's race to lose.
It surely is indeed. DRS becomes enabled. They won't get it on the first 2 straights, of course, because the detection zone is before the timing beam. Team Marduk moves to the outside line, now moves back into the slipstream of Razin Chai, who seems to have a better straight line speed in terms of setup in towards turn number 1. He's on the outside line. We've seen this before. Swoops around the outside as Team Marduk and gets up to P2. And now the challenge between himself and Alex Gillen is on.
That was an important move from Team Marduk. He had to make it stick. And now he's going to chase down Gillen without DRS and without much slipstream, as Safso makes up into 3rd as well. Safso's going to want a piece of that Papaya McLaren as well. But I think Gillen might have got away with this one and might win this Mexican GP.
Yeah, that move into turn number 1 of the utmost importance to try and chase away, as we have unfortunately a couple of internet issues, but Team Marduk will continue to try and chase down Gillen here for P1. The gap between them remaining fairly equal in the closing stages of this Grand Prix. The medium's not doing too well. It's Dragonflies into the wall. We have another safety car.
Oh my god. The 4th safety car. The legendary 4th safety car. Well.
Well. Who would have thought it? We are also being told that Alex Gillen, who leads this Grand Prix, has 2 track limit warnings to his name. Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, because this is going to be amazing.
It certainly is going to be fantastic. As we're on lap 64 of 71, some of the guys towards the further back of the grid have pitted, including Tom, who needed a new front wing. Maybe he's got a chance of some points towards the end of this race. We know what Gillen and Ben are going to do. Maybe Safso's waiting for that to happen. Negroni still hasn't pitted, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see what happened. Neguera stays out, of course. And Gillen versus TM at Mardik 2, Electric Boogaloo. We got Mr. Dale in the chat as well. He'll be coming by the Creator Series office to collect his award for 35 Creator DNFs to his name. It's a big achievement here in the Creator Series, have 35 to your name.
How many races have there been in Creator Series?
About 81, 82.
So if you do the maths, you can work out the percentage.
Well, I've actually done the maths multiple times. He's on about a 57% DNF rate of all the races that he's attended.
57% DNF rate. I mean, that deserves an award in itself.
I think it does. He's the highest out of absolutely everybody. I'm sure there'll be other drivers adding to their totals this afternoon. Of course, we've had now 5 retirements. Of course, Dragonfly's hitting the wall through the S's. 81. There we go, total. He has more than double of P2. I think that is absolutely correct.
Double of P2.
Yeah.
Me. I mean, that's quite that's a good stat, Dale. That's a good stat.
As Hoodie Pete says, add it to the Guinness Book of World Records. However,
yeah, exactly.
the only unfortunate thing is that's only a yearly release and it gets updated almost weekly at this point.
Yeah, that's true. So Tom is back in the pits again for a brand new set of tyres. I say brand new set. That's 4 laps old, it says on my screen.
Yep, 4 lap old medium. 4 lap old softs. So we'll keep an eye at the moment. I think he might have had, unless he had damage there, I don't see the reason to pit. Joran van Geffen getting up to P10, swapping positions with T. George. I feel now's like an appropriate time to run through who has what penalty as well. So F1 Scott has 6 seconds, 3 seconds to Hayden Gullis, 9 to T. George, 3 to Yorit, 6 to Razin, of course, defending so hard off the past safety car restart, 3 to Mike Donaldi, and 15 seconds to the Italian stallion, also known as Lolly Noba.
Well, this is going to be very interesting indeed. It certainly is. I mean, I'm genuinely curious how this one is going to end. I have no words. Well, I think I'm going to have no words when this ends, but that will be the last safety car that appears, TK.
It will be indeed. So just a reminder, Gillen on 2 track warning penalties. Ben Daly on 2 track warnings penalties, according to my data. And I believe Safso also on 2 track limit warning penalties. This is going to be a fantastic end to this Grand Prix. It could be decided on penalties. Gillen is taking it almightily slow, but he's launched early. He's caught Timo Monik out, and he's already a second ahead before the final corner. Alex Gillen rounds the final corner to take us on to lap 66 of 71. Someone, his engineer, has told him to execute order 66, and he is gone.
He certainly has. He's absolutely caught Timo Monik napping there. Caught him while he was asleep as Cryax makes that move up into P4 as well. And we've got some good runners. Those both Aston Martins, both of them reserves, running 6th and 4th right now. And it's looking good for them as Meraki is on the charge, trying to get past Infratic now. Here we go, down the back straight, or one of the back straights, as they're looking for that move, but can't seem to make it past Infraticals. No DRS yet. He's down the inside. He's gone for it from a long way back. And they go wheel to wheel and a proper collision. And it's pushed Meraki wide. Infratic having none of that, as it's now allowed Hayden Gillis up the inside. But Hayden can't make the move stick.
Yep, unfortunate for himself there. Infratic still holds P7, Meraki P8, Hayden Gullis up in P9, of course, thinking about an opportunistic move, and Timo Monik teetering on that 1 second delta. He needs to hold the DRS. He is purple through Sector 2, so Timo Monik on a charge here on the fresh medium tyres. Gillen's got to do all he can to try and charge him off or hold him off through the last 5 laps of this Grand Prix. 67 of 71, and this is far but over.
Oh, they are absolutely flying. Cryex is absolutely flying as well, down in 4th place. Did Ben get DRS? Of course, it won't be on yet. We still got another lap to go.
He won't be able to get the detection point until they make their way in towards the S's through turn 6 and 7, and this will be all important for him to do so. Gillen has put his foot to the floor, gained an extra 3.5 tenths clearance from the Papaya McLaren that stands behind him. Make that almost half a second now, as it's a poor exit on the mediums from Timo Marduk. Alex Gillen surely stamping his place in the history books now.
It surely is it. It can only go one way as it stands, and it's going the way of Alex Gillen. And I mean, if he does win this race, he surely has deserved it. The man has driven such a fantastic race this afternoon. And Timo Marduk is just going to come up a bit short, I think. And I wonder if that lack of straight line speed is affecting him. And maybe the lack of soft tyres he had left is going to cost him in the end.
Yeah, but I think it might have been a strategy call in the end. The medium tyres, of course, not as quick as the softs around here. He went double softs at the start of this Grand Prix. Jori van Geffen and his teammate pushing Razin Chai all kinds of wide in towards the stadium section, trying to hold on to the position. They're still wheel to wheel all throughout that section. Jori coming out on top, though.
Very nice from Jori van Geffen up into top 10, but he does have time penalties to his name. And Tom in 12th, he's definitely got a chance of getting that place, as Sapso jumps into 2nd place there.
Yeah, fantastic move from Sapso. He's on for podium number 10 in the Create Series. It's been a long time coming for himself. He's got to hold off Timo Marduk and Kryzix.
Wow, fun.
F1 Scott falling victim there, maybe to his own success, down to P12, Razin Chai, and Tom coming back through. Tom, of course, pitting earlier at the last safety car, getting a fresh set of boots on, and he will be on a charge now through the field, trying to recover some of the positions that he has already paid diligence for. But Safso, 1.5 seconds off the back of Gillen, maybe will try and mount his own charge here for the Kicksauber, as we have 3.5 laps of racing to go.
1.7 seconds, that gap seems to be going up, not down, unfortunately. But of course, these top 3, as you mentioned, DK, are all on 2 track limit warnings.
They are indeed. Who knows what could be Kishi? I mean, could you imagine if Alex Gillen throws away this race win on track limits alone? They've got 3 laps to contend with, just under 10 miles to do so. And this is going to go right to the wire.
It certainly is, but I think Safso is going to fall under prey to Timo Marduk, because Timo Marduk goes back past Safso in the DRS zone, and it has used a little bit to close in on Alex Gillen. Maybe this isn't over, TK.
I don't think it is over yet. 1.2 seconds now, the advantage up towards the Kicksauber with 3 laps to go. This is going to continue to close with every single opportunity of that DRS. Of course, the straight line speed looks like Jori van Geffen losing out positions hand over fist. He's back down to P11 as Hayden Gullis up to P7, dives down the inside. And Fratic, who's gone round and spun. The Ferrari is out. He's taken Tom with him.
Oh. It's all gone wrong for both those drivers, and surely that's a retirement for both of them, because it's 3 laps towards the end of the race. There is no safety car to be seen, but Timo Marduk is within DRS range here, TK.
He is indeed. He hasn't got it this time around. I think he was just too far out as we crested turn number 7, but he will certainly be close enough as we head through the final corners here, round turn number 16 and 17, and the rear wing of that McLaren will become open to try and chase down Gillen with 2 laps to go. It's the fastest lap as well.
Lap 14.7. DRS is wide open for the McLaren. Maybe those mediums have started to heat up here, TK, at the Mexican GP, and maybe there's still a chance we get a battle for the race lead. We're on the penultimate lap of the Mexican GP, lap 70 of 71. Cryex is still involved in this fight. Don't count him out just yet. It could be a 3-way battle for the lead. Gillen surely wants to be not leading on the last lap of this race. Will they go wheel to wheel? They surely will. Is Cryex going to go around the outside of Timo Marduk? No, he won't. Safso is involved in this fight too. It's a 4-way fight for the lead with 1 lap to go.
This is absolutely incredible scenes. Just over 3 miles to contend with for our drivers through the S's, and of course they've got to be absolutely millimetre perfect with track limit warnings hanging over their heads. Gillen still leads though from Team Armadic from Kreisix, who's come up from P19. A stellar drive from the Aston Martin driver into the stadium section for the penultimate time. Gillen feeds them through. Will Team Armadic be able to get it down into turn 1? He'll get the double dose of DRS as we start lap 71 of 71 here, Alex.
And here we go, one final time going down the main straight, and they're both dumping battery. This is game, set, and match, surely, for Alex Gillen as Team Armadic moves to the inside. Kreix is going to go for it too. Is there a chance for a move? No, because Gillen was there. Kreix did Gillen down the inside, and he was way too late on the brakes. And he's cost himself a podium place. And that might be his chance over. But don't count out Kreix yet. He's still got the chance for the win. Can he go around the outside of Team Armadic? No, he cannot. Team Armadic stays in the lead of the race. And Alex Gillen has definitely cost himself that podium place because Safso's in third. But Team Armadic leads by 0.3 of a second from Kreix.
He does indeed, in towards the S's for the final time. Gillen well out of the contention for the race win, still in with a chance for a podium, but we got one more DRS zone to contend with here. The Aston Martin will get that rear wing open on the 71st lap of this Grand Prix. Can Team Armadic fend him off in towards the stadium section? It's not long enough for himself to hold on. Team Armadic will surely get the race win here, but Kreisix will come home on the podium. Fantastic stuff for himself. Safso will make it podium number 10, but rounding the final corner, back-to-back wins. Team Armadic will get your race win. Kreisix joins him in P2, and Safso podium number 10 for his career. Gillen lost it at the final time of asking. Gillen P4, Meraki P5, Nogueira P6, Gullis comes home in P7, Razin Chai, Mike Donaldi, and F1 Scott round out your top 10. Yarrow Van Geffen just comes home in P11, T George P12, Lolly Noba P13, and Tom, who was caught up with Infratic at the final time of asking, is in P14. Infratic, Dragonflies, El Rey Guri, Dark Viper GT, Mr. Dale, and Bushy Ants are your did not finishes for this afternoon. But Team Armadic, for his 12th victory in the Creator Series, brings it home in front of all of our other creators on the medium tyre.
Fantastic drive from himself, from the man from down under, and he's ended on top of the world this afternoon here in Mexico City. What a race and what a drive from the Australian as he picks up back-to-back wins in the Creator Series.
Fantastic race result for himself, and I'm sure he'll be eager to have a bit of a chat with us. Game gives driver of the day there to Kreisix, and I'm so inclined to agree. An almighty comeback from P19 on the grid to P2. I think anybody else would agree with us here, Alex.
Yep, I certainly would. I mean, P19 to P2 could have easily won the race as well, and it's all thanks to such brilliant driving from the Aston Martin driver.
Certainly is indeed. Champagne sprayed on the podium here for the man from down under. We'll run through our results. Not only was it a fastest lap 2 times in a row, but it's back-to-back wins for Team Armadic as well as he takes the top step of the podium. Kreisix and Safso share that honour with him. Gillen will have to settle for P4 this afternoon. Meraki P5, 6 Nogueira, 7th Gullis, Chai in 8th, and Mike Donaldi P9. Scott in P10, Yarrow Van Geffen P11, P12 is T George, Lolly Noba, Tom, and Infratic, the last of your classified drivers. And then it is Dragonflies, El Rey Guri, Dark Viper, Mr. Dale, and Bushy Ants as your drivers that did retire. Wow. What a Grand Prix. What a race.
What a Grand Prix. 71 laps of action. There was not one dull moment in that race. It could have gone any way. And I mean, you know what? Gillen went for it on the final lap. But I think it was more of a head versus heart situation there, I believe, in that final lap.
It certainly was. It was chaos until the final end. I was just pointing out as well, Kreisix did a 5-stop strategy to finish P2 on the podium. So absolutely almighty drive from himself. We'll wait and see if we got anyone hopping in for interviews at the end. We have already got Safso in, so we'll pull an early chat in with Safso, see if we can see what he has to say about today's race. Safso, welcome in to the commentary box. Podium number 10 for yourself here in the Creator Series, and one that I think is long awaited for yourself.
Absolutely. I think, so someone probably needs to correct me, but I think that's my first actual on-track, no penalties involved podium in like a year. It's been so long since actually finishing in the top 3 on track. It was, mega result. Another just hauling up the positions. Obviously, super unlucky for Alex at the end there. I don't know what happened. Maybe he brought it upon himself. Maybe got spun by Ben or something. But yeah, so you got to be in the position to take it. And yeah, got pretty lucky at the end. But also, I personally think I deserved it.
You certainly did indeed. And of course, it was a good drive from P11 on the grid. 3-stop, 4-stop strategy to your name as well. Just, I think that race almost had everything for yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the first call to go, I think it was 8 laps on the softs. And then Tom came in the lap after. And since he was ahead and I got the undercut, we actually came out near each other. And that was a huge driving force for the race, just being able to DRS swap with each other, massively catch up to those who hadn't pit yet. He was amazing in collaborating in that, I think, second stint. Third stint was obviously got a bit more messy with safety cars and such. It sounds like something happened to him in that last few laps, like someone had a collision with him. So I hope I misheard and he got a good result, because he was mega today. But yeah, no, you're right. It's absolutely, it had everything: safety cars, people crashing, people making mistakes. This is one of the few tracks where it's almost like basically impossible to recover fuel. Not fuel, sorry, ERS. So we had to be really hard on the management of that. I think if I managed my ERS better, maybe could have been in the fight a bit more. But yeah, again, you're right. That was a very, it had every factor kind of race.
And just flipping it on its head real quickly, throwing it all the way back to the sprint that we had at the start. What were your thoughts on how that went?
Well, I got disconnected on either the first or second lap, I'm pretty sure. I was about to overtake Dale for third, and then the game or something, because I don't think it was the internet. The internet was fine. I didn't see a blip or anything. But it's just like, you know what? I'm going to continue your streak of doing absolutely awfully in sprints, and you can't do anything about it. Because I rejoined like 3-4 times, you never gave me the lights to take back control. So, and then I tried to find, I was trying to work with the guys in BC to figure out a good point to pull over the car by quitting to main menu, because for some reason that retires the car. Apparently it was still kind of inconvenient. I think Alex said he and David had to change their racing line. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It'd be nice to do well in sprint for once, but if I have to have those kind of sprints to have on-track podiums, I'll take it. I'll take every bad sprint you can throw at me.
And stuff. Alex, anything for Safso?
No, nothing really to add. I mean, it was a cracking race at the end. Obviously, you saw the battle, I'm sure, from your view. Did you ever think you could win that one, or was it just you were happy with what you were on the last lap?
I wouldn't say happy as well, but I definitely know the top 2 was basically out of reach. Initially, it was because I thought Alex and Ben were just going to run away. You know how quick they are. Ben was on amazing tyres. Alex was on the same tyres and just a much quicker driver. So I thought it was just going to be those two gallivanting away in the distance, and then I try and defend from Kryzix for third. But I think Kryzix got past pretty quickly. I can't remember exactly when, but they got past and then were able to catch up to the other two. And I was like, okay, something surely will happen between them. As soon as I saw the tap on the main straight on the final lap, I was like, okay, something can happen. Hello. And then obviously it did with, unfortunately, Alex having his spin, whether it was caused by someone else or not. But yeah, I was hoping for a P3. I would have been fine with another P4. I just know that also, I don't know if you caught it, but before one of the safety cars, I just plummeted down positions. Because I lost one little bit of momentum, I think, from Ratten sticking down the inside of turn 1. And everyone just go, oh, okay, I'll just shove in here. Oh, yeah, no. And then I go and lose like 5 positions from 5 places. So to get those positions back on, like, I think that restart as well, that was very much like karma looking out for me, like, hey, you know, I got you. You go and get back up there. Might only get a podium, but, you know, can't really ask for much better. So, yeah, P3, great result. P2 and 1, completely out of reach. P4 would have been fine.
Amazing stuff. Well, congratulations, Safso, on a podium. Much deserved for yourself this afternoon. And, well, we look forward to seeing you again in the commentary box for more podium interviews.
Hopefully, we'll see. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dude.
Cheers, thanks, Evan.
It doesn't look like we've got Cryzix in for a chat, so we'll pull in Timo Modic, of course, our race winner here this afternoon. Back-to-back wins from when we last saw him out in Canada. Ben, welcome in to the broadcast, and congratulations on yet another win this season.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I don't normally get wins very often in Creator Series, but it's turning into like London buses. Echo. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with the form at the moment. Things just seem to be falling into place a little bit. I probably had the best strategy out of anyone today. I saved all the mediums for the end, and the safety car gods shone down upon me, and we just had to get through all the shenanigans without risking too much, because I mean, even people in really good track position there got caught up in some drama, so I really didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, we thought you were crazy at the end going onto a set of mediums. We thought you'd thrown away the race, and actually it's what proved to work out best in the end. Was there a moment at the end where you were concerned about not having any softs left?
No. No, the softs are horrible at this track. Absolutely horrible. They only last about like 6-7 laps, so I wanted to get all my bad tires out the way off the start, and once I realized that there were like a flurry of safety cars coming, I realized like we were cooking.
Didn't you take that first set of softs like 19 or 20 laps?
Yeah, I reckon it was about 18 laps.
Both of them 18.
Yeah.
18 laps, yeah. I looked as I went into the pits both times, and they were on about 60-65%. So quite close to puncture range both times. And that first safety car was literally perfect timing for me.
Yeah, I don't remember who caused that safety car. Was it Dale? I think it was Dale.
I think it was,
Probably,
Yeah.
Statistically.
You know, there's half a chance in the race for a safety car when Dale's still driving.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a cracking race, and I mean, obviously you had a great battle with Gillen towards the end of it as well. And I mean, were you like, when you were behind him on that last lap, so you knew you were going to get DRS? Were you like, yeah, this is my time to get him, or did you think he's gonna play some games here, or what did you think?
Yeah, I thought there were some games to happen. The games did start on the penultimate lap. He turned his battery off completely, like really early, about halfway around the lap, the second half of the lap. And so I thought, all right, the games are coming, leading up to the last DRS zone to start the last lap. But he didn't in the end. He had me second guessing. There was a bit of a gap there, but I managed to close it. Yeah, right up behind him. But even still, like when you're 1v1 with Gillen, even when you still have the advantage, it's still not a given that you're going to get past him. He is a wily old fox he is. But yeah, I just did my best to put myself in the best position to capitalize. And to be honest, I don't think I made a mistake all race really.
Yeah,
I was gonna point one out.
Go for it.
Yeah.
It was the safety car restart on the last safety car restart.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
like, because we were watching, it was like, where's Gillen gonna go? And he just like shot off, and we were like, oh, okay, that's that then.
He was very clever. He was crawling going into the stadium section, and then he waited until like he could just drive off out of the really slow hairpin, and caught me napping a little bit. Like I said, he's really good at like strategies and stuff like that. So he got the jump on me, caught me napping, and to be honest, yeah, the gap was like a second after the restart. I was like, oh dear. But yeah, luckily I was able to work with the other guys to DRS share and get back up to him, and we were all gravy from there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was a cracking race, and I mean, TK, have you got anything to add, mate?
No, nothing. Just fantastic race, and we'll look forward to seeing you again very, very soon, mate.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
It's gonna be a
Thank
good
you,
one.
mate.
Bye-bye.
Wow, what a grand end to a grand Grand Prix. Safso and Ben, both humble as always, and it's been a long time coming until we see a Safso podium. Maybe you're his good luck charm here, Alex, so we might have to have you back again.
Yeah, maybe I am. After I thought I was causing carnage at the start, it turns out maybe I'm a good luck charm for someone. But yeah, it was a fantastic race. I was very happy to be here once again to do commentary for Creator Series, and obviously joined by yourself, Tom TK9.
It's been a pleasure. Well, where can they check you out if they want to do so just a little bit more?
You can check me out at Twitter, at Deathlink10 on Twitter, and I do also stream. I haven't streamed for a while. I've been quite busy, but I'm on twitch.tv/Deathlink10. I've got an Instagram as well. It's Deathlink10, and I have a TikTok as well, which is also Deathlink10. So you can check me out on one of those places.
Amazing stuff. If you want to check out the Creator Series, we shout them out earlier a little bit. Just above our heads are all of their social tags: YouTube, Instagram, X or Twitter, and TikTok as well. They are all at F1 Creator Series. And for myself, I'm at They Call Me TK on pretty much every single social media platform. But until we see you out next time on Monday night for some more rally action from all of us here in the commentary box, it is good night and God bless.